for that to be.
I'm pretty sure a lot of these schools, especially these private schools, get funded by certain politicians and certain people of status. And then, you know what I'm saying?
They said
It's a
money
lot of
for federal
favoritism.
taxes would have to be taken away from other priorities and would result in diminished financial aid for students, abandonment of critical medical research program, and lost opportunities for innovation. So that's why. Well, they saying that's how they feel about it. Like they need to do it. But are all schools tax? I'm about to, because I never knew that was a thing. I heard them say about the tax exempt for them, but are all colleges, or is he just taking it from them, or were they the only one?
I mean, if they're the only one.
They're the only one. College and university are tax exempt because the government recognizes the education they provide fosters civic engagement and citizen success. So that's crazy. So that's the same thing. If all school, so the school itself. So I guess the employees is not the people who went there, because that wouldn't make sense. Everybody that went to college would then should be. But I guess it's saying the business itself and the people that work there, or the whoever's in charge of the college that does the taxes, or they don't get taxes, or they're tax exempt or whatever. But they're only saying Harvard is no longer tax exempt, and all the other colleges get to still be. So what is the reason why he picked Harvard?
Because of some type of maybe Harvard was against him in his presidency, and you know how Trump likes to go at people that went at him coming up in his presidency. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So
vendetta.
Yeah, he seems like that type of person. Like he's not gonna forget a grudge. Like he's gonna get you. Like
he just planning it.
Real shit.
Figuring out when he gonna do it.
I would think that he would be a reader of the 48 Laws of Power, and like Art of War and stuff like that.
I mean, audio book or.
He said it's what they deserve.
What?
He said it's what they deserve.
Yeah, it's a vendetta.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. He be going at people for how like.
We lie. How y'all doing?
What's up, y'all? What's up, world?
Thank you for tuning in for another episode of Get Lifted. 30 is the new 20. I'm La Hefa.
It's your boy, Chris O.D.
SmileyJizzle. That's with you.
And hit the like button, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the next time we post or go live. And go check out the last video. If you haven't, the video from last Sunday is up. When sharks become dangerous.
That was the last video?
Last week. Talk about she and the shark.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was the title, when shark becomes dangerous.
That's hilarious. I like that though. Yeah, what did we talk about? Candace Owens.
So we're talking about Candace Owens now. Candace Owens, you know, she was rooting for Trump. She was rooting for Trump, and she decided to revoke her, you know, she's no longer on his side because she doesn't agree with him removing the tax exempt status from Harvard. And I wasn't aware of this, but all colleges have a tax exempt status in the US. But he's only removing Harvard specifically, and it seems like he got some vendetta against him, or this is like revenge on why he's doing this. And
revenge sex.
He said this. I read an article and it quoted that he said this is what they deserve. So it sounds like he feels some type. Yeah, like.
I mean, talk about pulling the Trump card. I mean, it's just crazy that like he just always doing something. Like sometimes it seems like he making good decisions and he just be like, no, but I wanted to, like he's like a big child.
The only thing I agree with him about is the DEI bill, diversity, equity, and inclusion, because I think that you should get your job based on merit and your ability to do the job, and not based off the color of your skin or your gender or anything like that. It should be how well you do the job.
But hold on, can I ask you something about that? Do you feel like it's that way now?
What?
Without the DEI bill, do you feel like it's that way?
It would be because they made specific jobs or specific positions for people that fit into that category. Like if you're a woman working in construction, they had to meet a quota. So you automatically got the job, even though you did a not as good of a job doing it, or you couldn't move as quickly as the men, obviously because they're stronger. That's a male-dominated field. But there's a law that says that you had to hire them, you can't discriminate. So they needed to fit a quota. And then there are jobs where they can't, because of your age, disabilities. That all goes into that. It's not just one
Into
thing.
what,
So
the DEI?
Yeah, diversity, equity, and inclusion.
And you don't want that.
I'm saying if you're able to do the job, it won't matter about that because you're gonna get a job. You're gonna find the job that you're looking for because you're qualified to do it. You should not be just getting hired because of what you look like, or because or because like you fit into a certain social class and we need this person there. If you're that color, okay, but are you able to do the job is the question. Because I go through this all the time at work. There are people, we have overseas callers that literally barely speak. This is the worst. I've worked in call center before. This ain't the first job that I took inbound calls before, and this is the worst that I've ever experienced. I literally be on call for 20 minutes. I should have took 5 minutes because I spend most of the call repeating myself or asking them what they're saying, and then we get off the phone and they still don't have an understanding. I go look at the notes. This is the 4th time that they called about the same question, and they still don't understand it. So you're wasting my time and yours because you're not getting the message that we're trying to relate.
So let me ask this.
And I feel like that's why my job is closing down, because that was a part of that. But I'm not worried. I feel like I'll be able to find another job.
Do
but
you think
need to qualify.
a job should have, and to speak to the point of qualification, but to go a little bit deeper, do you think the job should seek a unique archetype of individual that fits the individual that's always getting the best call? So basically, let's just say the person's first language is English. You always go after people where their first language is English. Is that a bad requirement to have on a job? Should people who are learning English and getting their skills better, should they be able to qualify?
I say you should be able to do the job. That's what I'm talking about.
But
whatever job you apply to,
but this job requires you to be able to speak English as your first language. But maybe it's not your first language.
You need to work on a translation line. If you can't speak the English, there are people that call that speak the same language.
That's a slippery slope because some people are qualified. You saying that, you asked
that question. I said qualified, and I gave you an example of them not being, because would you say someone that's not qualified, they wouldn't have to call back 5 times to ask the same question over and over?
That was to your point, yeah. So that's why I said to that point, because you're saying like, A as in apple, B as in Barbara,
chill,
like that, right?
But it's more than that, because when we got done with the call, there was still no understanding because they kept on calling back about literally the same thing. I pulled up the note
saying
and
that
look,
if English
they
is
called
not your
about the
first
same
language, then you can't work here.
That's not what I said.
But no, that's what I asked.
They weren't able to do the job, whether they're English. Because it don't just be American. It don't just be people that don't speak English that do this. There have been other people that speak English and they call back again. You're making it that. I'm saying if you're not qualified, whatever the qualification needs to be, if you can't, the training that they give you is not adequate for you to be able to do the job efficiently, and you got to call back 50 times, because people that speak English do it too.
But
it don't just be them.
But if they're hired, then they were qualified.
They're obviously not, because they wouldn't.
They're not qualified to your standards. But the person that hired them said, "Hey, you are good enough to do this job." I think that's why the job is closing down. It's because they rely on it. You're probably 100% right.
But let me say this.
But if you gotta put that blame on the the
I
job.
got
though.
this.
You
I
can't
got
say
this
it's
one. I got
them.
this one.
It's the job that's qualified
So,
those
let's
people
look
to
at it
make
like
those
this.
calls and answer those calls.
I just
Nah.
came from the
They
airport. Hold
hired
on.
for
Real
them
time
just
shit.
Yeah,
to
but
be
you
the
gotta
voice.
Real time shit.
you can't send
I work-
your employee
Listen,
under
real-
fire
real time
without
shit, I
taking
got you.
responsibility.
Got you. Working at, I'm at the airport. It's a whole bunch of shit
I am
shows.
blaming that job. I said you shouldn't.
None of
be
these
able to
motherfuckers
work
that
in a
working
job
there, the
that
people
you're
that
Yeah, but you were
One-
saying the person if you're not
One
qualified.
But
in,
it's
in
who
the
gives
job.
them the
It's
job.
the job.
I said if you're not qualified, then you shouldn't be allowed. So who would give them the allowance? The employer.
But that's what I'm saying.
That's who's
Qualifications
making the
versus
decision.
Yeah,
prejudice.
but if they already hired them
Because-
because they
because
thought
if
they
you're
were qualified,
qualified-
they just were wrong.
If you
And
are
this is what I'm
qualified
saying,
for
like-
the job, then you can do the job. But I mean, I could fire you based on you not being able
Exactly,
to
you
perform.
perform.
But-
Exactly.
If you meet
Yeah, 'cause
the
they don't do all of
requirements
them.
to
Some of
make
them
to
are-
get here,
Yeah.
then you get
It's
hired.
probably the higher
But
position
That's
than
what
the
I
I'm
lower
saying,
said.
position.
Regardless of
Specific
that,
to
if
what
you
you were
qualify,
saying,
you don't
as a
have these
point.
issues, regardless of what language you speak,
Okay.
then you should be. I'm not saying I said that
but
in
that
the
could
beginning.
be a challenge. You know what I
Jobs-
mean?
I think-
Not for
that-
all. There are some people
I think
that
all
have
jobs
an
is like a
accent and
pyramid.
stuff, and they don't. They know.
But they wouldn't be able to get that job though. With that
No.
specification, they wouldn't be able to
No,
get the job.
I
because
think
you're
all
not
jobs
listening
like
to
a
what I
pyramid
said.
scheme, bro.
I said regardless of your race, gender, ethnicity,
taking
whatever,
DEI out
regardless of that,
Excludes all of that.
it won't.
Language barrier,
Yeah, you
all
have
of
to
that.
be.
Yeah, that'll excludes all of
Yeah,
that.
you have
so
to be qualified.
the person with a little accent wouldn't get a job because they
No,
fall into that.
it's not
Yeah,
saying.
you're right.
They
No,
do.
it
They do.
doesn't.
They do.
They're going to
They
have
do.
to actually qualify. They're just hiring those people. I don't think they actually really test. What my
Because
opinion,
when you take
my
that
belief,
away, you
No,
cannot
no.
hire a person based on whatever
it
it
depends
is.
what job.
because
they're
of
working.
that.
There's,
Yeah.
it's,
So you can't even.
stereotype
it's
them.
Right,
not
you
all
can stereotype.
jobs.
Exactly.
All
And they
jobs
do do it,
don't-
especially corporate.
all
Yeah.
jobs
Especially
don't
corporate.
offer that. It's only those
Mostly
jobs
corporate.
that or fields, like I said, because my whole job didn't close
I
down.
mean, if
Just
they
certain
don't do it at
sectors.
Walmart or some
So
shit like that, it's
whoever
different, but
fit whatever job description, or if you work for an employer that they have that, then those specific jobs. It's not going to be every single job because every single job doesn't operate that way. And I never said that. I said as long as you're qualified to do the job, regardless of that. You can have accents. There are people that have accents and they're able to do the job properly. That's not all of them, but a lot of them that call, I can't understand them, they can't understand me, and then I look in the notes and they called 50 times about the same thing because they never got an understanding. I don't know if it's
Hold on.
because
Let me ask
our
this.
insurance
Right.
doesn't translate the
jobs
same
are
way
racially
to them
Let me
or
ask
whatever.
this.
they are.
So, what do you have to say about?
I don't
Hold on,
think
hold on,
they're
hold on, hold on,
actually
hold on, hold on,
testing
hold on, hold on,
them.
hold on,
I
hold
think
on.
they're just
Hold
saying,
on, hold on,
okay,
E,
you're
E,
brown,
wait,
okay,
wait,
you're
wait.
a woman, okay,
Okay,
this, and they're
cool.
just giving them the job. I don't think they're actually
Cool.
making them qualified. They're just
That's
checking them
cool.
off because
I
they met the
understand.
quota. Now
I
they're going to
understand.
require that
I
you actually
understand.
have to put in the effort to actually show if you're qualified or not. I'm not just going to check
I
you off the
It's
understand.
gonna
top.
go
Hold
back
on,
to
hold on, hold on,
the job
Smiley.
can hire whoever
Smiley.
they want. It doesn't matter.
Let me
how
ask
you
her.
feel,
Let me ask
whether
her
you
one
feel
thing.
you're
Let me ask her
qualified or
one
not.
thing right quick.
I can have.
Let me ask her one
I
thing,
cannot
bro.
hire you based on you got a bonnet. I can hire you based on you're black.
Let me ask her one thing.
I can hire
They
you. I
can,
can.
So what about-
They should not.
Right.
If you come to an interview with a bond, you deserve not to be
So
hired. 'Cause
hold
why
on.
would you do that?
Regardless,
That's what's
right? So the people that would
Taking
have.
it
Hold
away
on, hold
from
on, hold on,
the
Smiley.
employer.
Let me
My
ask
bad,
her.
my
Let me
bad.
ask her.
I just wanted to add
So
that little
the
part
so
in
the
there.
people
Like, are you going
so the
into
people with the DEI,
Or
right?
acting, or
Let's
what
say-
type of job are you going into?
Let's say there's some people that think that DEI is probably the only reason why they got the job, because unlike E was saying, they were racial. They usually are racially profiled because they're different, and you know what I'm saying. It's not as cohesive as somebody who was born here, understands the customs, yada yada yada.
Mhm.
But he still good at his job. He just has an accent. It's a little, you know what I'm saying? Like, he can still do the job. It's just he doesn't qualify better than the person that's easier to work with, right? They can both do the job. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So if we take away DEI, right, which I'm not here or there for. It's like I'm pretty much out of it because I don't control politics and I don't care. You see what I'm saying? What I don't control. But if he's as effective negatively, is there sympathy for him or oh well?
It's a oh well.
That's how.
DEI,
That's the answer.
DEI
What's your
is
answer?
If you don't qualify for the
DEI
job,
is the protection
like
for that.
in a construction, let's take it off of language. If you're a construction worker and you're not able, and you're a woman, you're weaker than a man, you're not able to do the job, you're not catching it, you're not picking it up fast enough, you almost made some shit fall on everybody because you wasn't able. That's a liability.
I work with a woman
in certain positions.
I work with a woman that was
Okay,
better, that was stronger than some of the men.
That's fine. That's
She was
one
qualified.
woman.
She qualified.
And she
Hold on,
proves that,
hold on,
and they're
hold
not
on,
just
hold on.
checking off the box just
Hold
because
on.
you're a woman.
One
because
second.
I think that's what they were doing. They weren't actually proving if you were fit. If you had a degree or whatever certification you need, then they're like, okay, you got it, because you're a woman and we need you to meet that quota. Now you got to prove it to us before we decide.
Hold on.
Job.
In that specific, hold on, exactly, there was.
There should
There
be.
was.
If you can't
But
do
hold
the
on.
job, that's not discrimination. Why am I hiring somebody that can't do the job efficiently? Or can't do it at all. Like I said, back to the call center. If people from your office gotta keep calling back 50 times because they don't understand what we saying, we speak in plain English. They understand the words because they repeating it back to us, and they still calling back about the same patient over and over. And the whole call center is having the same issue. We're all complaining about this, and we have a high call volume. The calls are taken. Like I said, I've worked in call centers for years.
Because they
This
keep
ain't the
saying,
first
thank
job.
you, Carl, okay.
Well,
They asking the same thing over and over and over. They repeat it. They be like, "You said 59.35? Yes, 59.35. 59.48.
It makes sense that
like
the job is going out.
if you can't do the job properly, that's all I'm saying.
So if the job is going out of business,
You should be able to show that.
And we see.
They should be able to
If
test
they
that
had
out.
DEI, if they didn't have DEI, they probably wouldn't be going out of business.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they would only hire people that speak
people that
English.
would. Yeah, exactly.
That's not the only. It's
That's true.
not just language.
Very
It's
true.
race
Qualifications.
and gender as well. You're the same.
But that's
language.
just one component, because that's what we're talking about. So that's why
Disabilities,
I'm just really
age, and that's another
specifying
thing.
on
People that are older, I just feel like fuck all that. Y'all in your feelings or whatever talking about that. If you can't do the job properly, because they be old people too, that's another thing. They can't move fast enough. They say a high call volume. Then all of the shit when the other people fucking up is put on the other people. And that's another thing. People inside the call center be messing up stuff. You got people that work for us, not the people that's calling too, that be messing stuff up. And then it falls back on the people that actually know what they're doing. The calls are taking longer. People waiting on hold longer because it's a problem, because you can't, because you're old and you don't know how to type fast enough or whatever and stuff like that. Like, yeah, maybe you need a job, but you need to find something that you're better suited to do. There's a reason why you have to have a degree to do certain stuff, or a reason why you have to have certain experience to do certain stuff. If you don't know what Internet Explorer is, and this, I'm not making a joke, I'm being serious. If you don't know what Internet Explorer is or what a browser is, and you're working in a job where you need to use the internet and stuff like that, then that's a problem to me. Why would you hire somebody that doesn't qualify? That's what I'm saying. It should be based on if you could do the job or not. You should have the opportunity. I'm not saying that. The opportunity should be displayed during the interview process. And because I don't think that they were giving them that. I think they were just looking at them and say, you get a thing, you get a thing, you get a thing, because you're a woman, because you're Vietnamese, because, or Indian, or whatever, Middle Eastern, because you're black, and we need that. We just checking it off, because it ain't just even American people be fucking
But
up
you
too.
still have,
They don't
but you
qualify.
still have certain things that you have to be able to do, and that's how they end up getting the job. But then also,
My thing is
they
cheap
need
labor.
them.
It's cheap labor. At the end of the day, if I gotta hire somebody that's qualified, they need to get that qualified money, because they know that, hey, guess what? I could do this, I could do this, I could do this. Versus a nigga that don't know his rights, just trying to get it, just trying to, you know what I'm saying? I'll take whatever. Hey, guess what? You could take this, what's the name job, and I'm gonna pay you $15 an hour or whatever, and you're gonna work 35, 40, 45 hours a week or 50 hours a week. And then, you know what I mean? Yes,
shit.
yeah, real talk. And then if you
For
take too
something-
many days
for
off,
something
you're fired.
For something I'm making you over $30,000 a month.
Exactly.
But
You see
are
what I'm
you
saying?
doing the job properly? That's what I'm
That's
saying.
why they're
if
fi-
you're
that's
not
why they're
doing
failing.
it properly, then that's a
But
problem.
that's why they're failing,
There are
though.
people within that class that can do the job properly. Hire those ones that are actually qualified, not the ones just to check it off.
It's just like Smiley just said. They wouldn't have been going
That's
down.
not true.
Because, yes, it is.
Because there are still, just like black people, they say, oh, we can't do this or we can't do that. But there have been some black people that have been able to excel because they pushed themselves or they were networking. They got a referral. They figured it out.
Though.
Not
It's
necessarily.
back to that.
It's
Not necessarily? Okay.
Because I filled out an application, I got pulled back already. I'm not
Yeah,
overqualified.
During all this shit that's been going on.
Yeah, right now. So that doesn't mean I'm overqualified. It means I have a resume. I've been working. You have to have experience. There's always barriers for every class of people. No one can just walk, unless nepotism or something like that. Like, you can't just walk through the door. There has to be some type of qualification. That's all I'm saying. If you're making me lose business, then it's not worth it hiring you because you're not doing the job. If you got to keep calling back and you still don't understand what's going on, what are you here for? You're not
certain jobs
you're
they
not
want to
doing
hire
anything.
women. It's hard for men to get call center jobs. So certain jobs, back in the day, really. But then they started
and
to
now
hire
they're
more
saying
men.
they're taking that away. So they're gonna interview
So now
you and
niggas
test
is gonna
you
have to
during
go
the
for the
interview
construction
to
jobs,
see
and
if you
women's
meet
gonna have to go
the
for the call center
qualification.
jobs.
And if you don't meet the qualification, they're not gonna. Everybody got a job turned down before, but we all have a job. So I don't know why we're like. We don't fit into that.
Before DEI, it was called affirmative action, and that was before you was born.
I know what affirmative action
is. Yeah, right.
I heard of that.
So that already put that into play where minorities was able to get jobs that they wasn't getting before, as long as they were applying for it. But it also depends on where you apply because everybody's not racist. If you don't get this job, then you're gonna give up and stop applying. They needed numbers.
You're gonna keep applying, right? Until you find something that hires you. Everybody got turned down before when they went on the interview, but you didn't give up. You kept going. Yeah, there are barriers or stuff that put in because regardless, he took it away. He took it away, so it don't matter. You still got to move on. So we could acknowledge that this is happening, and you could feel like it's a problem, but you can't let that stop you. You gotta acknowledge that you gotta keep on going too, because you can't just sit there and be like, oh, they were not doing this, but people are still going to work, people are still getting jobs, there are still people in different ethnicities, not just black, and other minority classes that are in high positions because they worked hard and they got there and they didn't give up. So we gotta push that. You can't give up. This is the society that we live in, so you can't just sit there and twiddle your fingers because you can't do nothing about it. You gotta get up and make a way for yourself. You gotta figure it out.
I think it's all about discernment, though. So if certain people make certain actions, you have to have the discernment to be like, okay, I gotta trust them to do certain things that maybe I wouldn't expect them to do. You see what I'm saying? And then you say, okay, from now on, if I see these type of traits in people, I know that, it's capable coming from people because I seen it. I seen it with my own eyes. You see what I'm saying? That's how we learn. We learn from what we experience with other people and stuff. And I just feel like it's very, very important to take these lessons serious and not keep on doing the same things over and over and over again because you say, okay, I don't feel like I could make a difference, or the difference is just you and how you think about it. For real. It's like,
you
control the things. I'm saying that. I'm just saying that for me personally.
But
I'm just saying.
Focus on yourself first.
Yeah, exactly. It's all internal. So at the end of the day, like, if you're happy with what you got going on, you can't really worry about what you can't control. You see what I'm saying? You can see it. You can see it. You can have your opinion about it. You could, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, 100%. You just gotta move forward.
Just like the fucking, like I said, that's the only thing so far that he's done that I agree with. Just like the now he's saying if you don't start paying back your student loans, because I had student loans, I was on an income driven repayment plan, and now he's saying people that are on that is null and void. You gotta start making payments again. I'm not happy about that. And it's not like I didn't just pay it. It's actually something that you sign up for. If you're under a certain income bracket for 10 years, then they forgive it. And then they raise the time frame or the duration of how long it has to go on before you get forgiven. But he removed that. So now I got to start making payments again. I'm just going to have to start making payments or pay it off. Like, I can't. Or I'm gonna get my wages garnished, like you said, or people that get Social Security that didn't pay it, and they don't start making payments. You gotta just do what.
And to be real, garnished wages. I just want America to know, because not everybody knows this. It's not all of your pay. It's just a percentage of your pay.
Yeah, so you gotta start making payments.
So yeah, 100%.
That's still crazy.
Even if you don't want to, they'll take.
That's crazy.
That's why if you make the payments
Really
yourself, you can determine how much you want to pay before they make the decision for you. Yeah, I mean, it's fucked up or whatever, because not like it's not affecting my credit because I actually am on a program or whatever. But
they gonna get their money regardless. It doesn't affect my payment.
People
if it affect my credit, it better be good. Even if they do garnish it, like nigga, you got
they're hiring. They're hiring. Apply for the
my shit
airport.
is like
People need you, man.
I mean,
that's not even that bad.
That's what I'm saying. It's
And
not
they pay
affecting
great.
it because as long as you're responding to him or you're making payments or I'm like I said, I'm on this plan, so I don't have to pay.
The worst they would do is take $200 out your
That's
check.
too much.
She said
Because
that's
any
too
money
much.
that I'm not gonna be paying that. If I get on the regular payments, then I'm gonna pay. I mean, what
Like 50?
they tell you what you're gonna pay.
Okay.
I gotta redo the paperwork.
But you can
again.
negotiate.
Yeah, if I could. Well, and I'm about to not be working anyway because I don't know when my job's actually closing down. They still didn't give us a deadline.
They're trying to hold on, but they getting too many complaints. I can't understand what the motherfucker is saying on here.
Customers do be calling and saying, they be like, oh my God, I'm so happy that I got an American. And I don't say nothing, but in my head, I be like, I know how you feel.
I know you feel, real talk.
Because I be happy when I get, I don't have a problem, I'm not discriminating. But because there are people that speak different languages or their English not their first language that I was able to understand and it wasn't an issue. But they can only take 25% of your net, not your gross pay.
Yeah.
I don't want them to take 25%. I'm gonna just
you don't want them to take nothing,
But thank you, Cameron. Shout out to you. Thank you for tuning in. And could you hit the like button if you haven't, please, and share and subscribe. But thank you for your advice. But yeah, and I always thought garnishing meant they just take it off. But yeah,
people crazy.
But I don't want them taking nothing. I want to just be ahead of it and be in charge of the payments myself. Like I said, I can't cry about it. It is what it is. Like, what you gonna? You could be mad or whatever. Like this lady. It was this lady on the cruise. She's the R word. I don't want to say it. We can't say that or whatever.
Racism?
She was on a
She
was
why you got it? There's a whole bunch of other ways.
She's not really, but what she did, like because she was on a cruise, she had her son on a cruise, they were going on an excursion, and you pay for this in advance, you gotta have your bracelet.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't leave because it was like, you gotta get off because she didn't have her bracelet. The son had the bracelet on. I don't know, maybe she lost it or whatever. She was like, I'm not getting off because I already paid for it. And she wouldn't get off. They literally had to pick her up and carry her off. And her son was embarrassed. And he didn't get on. He got off. He was listening to them. They had security pick her up and carry her back onto the boat. They should have kicked her off the whole cruise. But, and then, her son broke down and started crying because he probably was embarrassed.
How old was the son?
He probably was like, I gotta get the charger for this. He probably was like 13, 14.
Oh, yeah, that's embarrassing.
12.
I'd have probably cried too. Like, come on, Grandpa, can we do this?
Because he would, no, his mom.
Oh, his mom. Damn, that's even more embarrassing.
Because he would just stand there looking at her.
People probably had cameras out, World Star.
And people were getting mad too because you holding us up. We trying to go on the excursion and then they only got a certain amount of time for that. That's like, when they leave, they're on a cruise, they stop somewhere and then you take a boat to go to another island, but you got a certain time to come back or you're going to miss the cruise the regular cruise that you on, that's gonna bring you back when you done or whatever. So you wasting our time. People is getting mad, like, girl. But the point I'm saying, instead of just getting off, I would have been mad too. But girl, if you lost your bracelet, that's your fault or whatever. And I think they gave her money back. But you sat there and wasted these people's time, embarrassed your son or whatever. MTR said, "Don't worry, brother. Just go to school and do the best you can, and go to college and leave and never look back." And I'm like, yo, why you say that? But I mean, that's why people do be moving away from their parents, because you embarrass them, like, you dumb ass like that or whatever. And then it's on camera, and I gotta be reminded for the rest of my life. And I'm sick of y'all parents recording everything and putting it online, embarrassing y'all. She didn't record that, somebody else did, but I'm saying in general, because that reminds me of that. Y'all need to stop, because that's gonna be online forever. If you want to discipline your kid, you can discipline them. Why do the world need to see it? We not the parent. Like, y'all need to grow up. Oh, I do have another. Speaking of parents, it's this lady. It was this Caucasian lady, and she was talking to her daughter very nasty. Like, she was talking to her crazy. Not nasty, like.
Oh, just like bad, like talking crazy.
Yeah, like, she's gonna resent you, because she's just like, girl, you better get the out of my room or whatever, like, or whatever. And the girls all she did, she came in there, because you can see the whole video. She came in there, she asked her to open up some jewelry, like the bracelet thing with the beads or whatever. And she was like, what is this? Oh, hell no, I'm not about to open this up. You're gonna have this all over the place or whatever. Like, I don't know why you gotta do all that. Like, you could have just said no, whatever. But she just keeps going on.
Yeah.
Like, she just, I mean, you could have said, because they were getting ready to go somewhere too. So that's why she was saying, okay, but you didn't have to say all that. And then you on camera too, so you know people. She's going live while she's doing it. She's going live, no. And then she was like, can you open it, please, or whatever. She's like, no, you better get the. Like, she just kept cussing her out. Then she did her, huh?
I'm high as fuck.
Then she did her hair. Then she was doing her hair and she was yanking and she was like, I'll rip you bald or whatever. Like, I'll rip that out. Like, you better keep it. I don't know what's wrong with her. She said she got issues from her childhood or something that she never resolved, because she came and said sorry. But why you saying sorry to us? We ain't your daughter. And
she said sorry to like the camera,
the viewers. Like, she made a video after, because people were in the comments. She was like, mind your fucking business, because I don't give a. I do, like, people were saying stuff while she was going, and she was just like, you could see her doing her daughter hair, and she's like like she's literally pulling her hair, because she told her to keep her head still, but she like pulling it, like she was like, I'll rip you bald.
You know what? That's something I learned recently, that like some women can do a little black girl's hair in a way where it doesn't hurt, and some women don't give a fuck, and they just claw it out. Yeah.
No, but she had an attitude. She told her, because she said get off the counter, and then she pulled her head. She said, you could see her pulling it. She was deliberately pulling it, not pulling it to put it in a ponytail. She pulled it because she was telling her to move her head or get off the couch, and she was white. This wasn't, but she was African. I don't want to say that, but you know, but typically we don't see that from them, or that's what people think.
She probably was trailer park type.
No, they had. Well, maybe she was, but it was a nice house. It was a big, nice house. She was married. The guy was co-signing or whatever. He wasn't even. And then somebody replied.
We ain't gonna have to live in that trailer park no more.
She wasn't, because she didn't have. She wasn't country or like that. I don't know. Maybe you could still be from a trailer park or whatever, but she wasn't. She didn't talk like that. I know what you're saying, like the hillbillies or whatever. She wasn't like that. Yeah. Like, wrong term. She wasn't like that. I'm fine. But I just think that that's crazy. Because she was just, and then people was like, they reported her. Now, I don't know about being reported. I feel like CPS is not going to do anything anyway, because she didn't actually bruise her or do nothing, but I feel like we don't know what else. If she's doing all that this is what I'm saying, you're on live too. Like, people going to have something.
She's doing it on purpose?
I don't know if
like in front of the camera?
I don't think she was doing it on purpose.
I'm telling you, they be doing it for clickbait. They do crazy stuff just so people could be like, yo, you see what she just did? And she white. Oh my goodness.
But she apologized because the people wasn't having it.
I'm so sorry.
They reported her. So
She reported herself. She low-key a Karen.
But I don't think that they're going to do anything because there's so many people. I just looked up how many unalivings happen per year, and it's ridiculous in the foster care system. I'll look it up again. I didn't look it up just now, but I'm saying.
Wow.
But so there have been reports of kids. I watch documentaries all the time. There was this one particular boy. He was getting abused all the time. He had bruises and this is not even to that extent. Is what I'm saying. Like, yeah, I don't agree with it. But if they didn't do nothing about somebody actually before he was unalived, like the teachers reported everything, can't take him from the parent because then they'll get in trouble. Right. They shaved his head down to the meat. Damn. Like, and there was like,
meat? What do you mean? Like
shaved his scalp, like his skin.
He was bleeding?
There was, he wasn't bleeding at school
meat.
Because
like,
he came.
He got a baldy?
If you let me say. He came back to school. It wasn't bleeding when he came to school, no. But you could tell that because there was a scar there. There was like they skinned it all the way down. There was marks. There was bruises. There were new bruises on top of old bruises. Like that's how bad it was. And then he told the teacher that his mom would put out, and this was his real parent. His mom would put out cigarettes on him and stuff. He had bruises all over his body, and they didn't do anything. He ended up being unalived because the teachers reported it, and there's multiple cases of different situations like this where either they were in the parents' home or they were in the system and something happened to them because they didn't do anything. They went and they were like, oh, they're okay. And then now they're gone. And
because so sometimes you don't know how far things are going.
Between 2003 and 2016, there were 3,485 unaliving among children in foster care in the U.S., representing a rate of 35.4 unaliving per 100,000 person year. This is 42% higher than the general child population. So more kids were unalived than there actually are children. 42% more. Like, that's crazy. And that's in the system. This person, the example I just gave, that was the actual parent. But the school was reporting it, and it didn't do nothing. But I have examples of, like, I've watched documentaries. This lady, these L couple from the LGBTQ adopted, like, 10 kids. And they were abusing them. They wasn't feeding them and stuff like this. And people were reporting. Every time they reported, they would move or whatever to another town, and they ended up driving. They ended up driving.
Crazy.
They ended up driving off of.
They turned them out.
What you trying to do? Yo,
they had to turn them out. They was abusing them. Yo, you don't think people that get abused get turned out?
They weren't actually
especially little boys
in that way. They were not.
You a little boy,
they
you
were
get
neglecting
raped.
them. They were under the.
You're probably gonna be.
You're saying that. That's not. Listen to the story. I didn't say that. The abuse was by neglect, by not feeding them. By this particular case that I'm talking about, they didn't put
like
the
abandonment.
They were there, but they weren't. They were all undersized for their ages because they weren't being fed properly. They were so hungry. They would go. One neighbor found them in the garbage can looking for food. But eventually, how it ended, the couple got in the car, put them all in the car, and they drove off a cliff.
Okay.
Yeah, CPS.
Okay, so let's
did a horrible job.
Right.
They did a horrible job.
And it's like
they
was already.
There are multiple. You heard how many people have.
And it was more than one kid.
That's crazy.
And it was more than one kid.
They got everybody in the car and drove off a cliff.
Come on, kids.
So psychologically, they were not prepared to have children.
It's a surprise.
And they were let to
like,
have the blessing of the children.
Through with that? Like,
and they murdered.
Just to elaborate on that.
There are multiple cases of people that they were their own kids. And they were chilling. This is why I keep saying Because it ain't just people in the system. That was in the system. But the first example was their child.
I'm not saying
so
we probably shouldn't do it. I'm just saying it would be a challenge to regulate that. I mean, we want people to have kids. We want the right people to have kids, right?
Not have them and then
but we want to encourage people to have kids. So it's so hard for us to do that.
You know what's crazy about that?
We're talking about how dangerous it is to have kids.
That's subjective to your morals too.
That is.
Because if you're a CPS worker.
But it's not them, it's the laws, it's the employers, it's stuff. Because I've seen documentaries also where people, they'll fire the worker, but it'll be like, people they're underemployed at any job. You go into the grocery store, I'm just making an example, follow me. You go into the grocery store, there's 20 registers, but there's 3 open. You go in the clothing store, the same thing. There's 10 registers, there's 2 open. Because they're not, so it's the same thing with social work. They're underemployed. They have 50 cases, and then, so you tell them to go make a quick run through, okay, everything looks okay. Don't worry about it. The person may want to, but now you got to decide, if I move on, go to the next case and try to work on that because they told me to, or do I go with my morals and possibly lose my job and how I'm feeding my family?
That's the problem.
And most people are not going to do that. And can you fault them for that? Because it's just like the president. You're gonna put your family before, or you gotta worry about the whole world.
The problem has to be fixed for something to be solved, though.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's a bigger problem.
Hold on.
It's the laws.
I understand.
It's the employer.
But that is the bigger grand scheme of things. We're talking about, let's go to the closest possible solution. Is okay. We gotta make sure we go into jobs not just based off of what we feel we're qualified for, with the understanding that this job is going to have an expectation for what they want you to do. Right. So if you at any point you go in that bitch feeling like oh, okay, I don't feel like doing this, that's your decision to say, yo, my morality is more important than this job. Right?
And that happens.
If you go hold on, hold on, I let you cook. No. I'm not gonna let you interrupt.
Feel like you need to work on it more, but they're saying no. You need to work on the next one.
You can express everything that you're saying right now after I finish saying whatever I say. You feel like I'm wrong, that's cool, but I'm gonna finish my statement because
I ain't gonna give a statement to something that I didn't say.
Because I was talking about something and you interrupted me.
But you're responding to what
I'm not responding to nothing. I'm talking about what I feel and I'm trying to get it off, but you're cutting me off. So like I was saying, right? If you're in a position and you are, hey, I'm grateful to this job for giving me the job, right? The job, like they hire you, everything's cool at first, and then you go through a certain situation where it feel like this is kind of like racist, right? So now it's different. You're not cool with the job no more. You feel like the job has wronged you, but you know if you go down this route, you could get fired and replaced, right? This is your money on the line. This is the expenses, your bills, all of this versus your morality. I'm saying, for me, when you go against your morality, it doesn't end good anyway. Because you're going to just keep going down the same road over and over and over. I'm just saying that as a general statement. It's not in response to anything else. I'm just saying generally, that's how I feel. Like when you go in those situations and you say, okay, I make a stance on this, and you go against the stance, then later on down the line, it becomes a regret. Or it becomes redundant because you're going to keep on doing that type of shit.
Versus hiring somebody who's just gonna, hey, this is what I got hired to do anyway, so I might as well just do it.
To me, a good qualified person is somebody who will tell you you're wrong if you're wrong. You see what I'm saying? That like I'd rather trust that person than the person that would do anything, tell me anything just to keep the job.
So I think the solution is that they need to hire more people because the boss is not talking about the entry level. Like if you're a social worker, you have to answer to somebody if you're working for a company. So even if you see that there's a problem and you have this affinity to it and you want to do the right thing, and they're telling you that, the solution would be, because the only reason why they're saying move on to the next one and don't worry about that because they passed good enough for us, and they're trying to push them because you got a caseload on your desk of 1,000 pages or 50 different cases, and you're just one person, and there's only 10 people in your office, and y'all all got 50 caseloads. It's only so many hours in the day. So what the solution would be is to hire more people, create more jobs, because we need more jobs for this, because we need more company or more social workers, more people working in the foster care system in that field
More
to help.
qualified
We
people,
need more
right?
group homes. We need more, because even that too, those are getting filled up too for the people that haven't got a home or whatever. Those are some people. That's why some reason why they don't take them out either when there's abuse in the home, even if they see it, because they're like, they don't got nowhere to take them. They can't bring them home with them because then they're gonna get arrested. That's kidnapping. You can't do that. And there was this lady, and it was her daughter. Her daughter got taken away, and her daughter got taken away, and then she was in foster care for a while. She got herself together. They let her get her daughter back, and she had other kids. She was abusing that particular child, not the other ones. I don't know why. And that lady too that I was talking about, she wasn't talking to her son like that. She was only talking to the daughter like that and being mean, and it was a clear difference. Yeah. Like she was just like, oh hey yeah boo to the son, and then the daughter, she's like, get the F out of my room or whatever, and she's just like, and I don't know. But anyway, this was a black lady, and she lost custody. She got herself together and got her daughter back. She had other kids too, and then she let the girl who had fostered her stay in her life, so she would come and visit and stuff. And she began to notice that she was abusing her, and it seemed like she just did it for fun or to antagonize her, because she would laugh about it. She even posted things online saying like, oh, they can't do that, because she reported it. I was drinking out of that, and I don't have one, but I gotta get some more. She only it seemed like she was only doing it to that child or whatever, and then she ended up unaliving her. And the person who had fostered her before, she was able to see her, so she was reporting it and stuff. And they let her take her one time. She took her out of the home, and then they were like, bring her back. They let her take her, and then they told her to bring her back, and then that was the last time that she saw her, because after that she was no longer she unalived her. So,
you know what's sad about this whole situation? A lot of kids are meant to go missing in the terms of human trafficking. You see what I'm saying? So it's like a lot of these answers won't be answered, and we'll be like, why? Like, it just makes sense to have it like this way. It's because there's more money involved with human trafficking, and it's like the country is like filled with it. Like, people go missing all the time. Like, you see what I'm saying? And it's crazy, but it's just like,
she wasn't listening. She underlined.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, with kids in general, like, the reason why a lot of these situations and all these kids misplaced and from the government, from the foster parent systems, from, whatever the situation is. It could even be step parents. You see what I'm saying? It's like, if they decide to get rid of their child, right, and the child, or they forcefully, right, they're put in a system where it's like 50-50. Like, there's some people that I know, like my the manager at my job. You see what I'm saying? He basically he's a foster kid. You see what I'm saying? He ain't had no parents.
I forgot that I had this, because I got that because I had alkaline water, but this is full spring.
Nah, I'll take full spring.
What it means to be from me.
What?
Nigga was on his Sammy shit, singing the blues.
Poland Spring commercial.
But yeah, I get so passionate about this, and this is why I say, like, and I know it's probably not gonna happen, but that there should be a restriction on who should have. Cause I'm tired of seeing these articles and these videos and stuff about in their own parents' home. Now it don't even just be the system. Like the statistic that I said, that was for the system, but there people. This lady ate. I don't know. Well, we can't say that, but she ingested
Hannibal Lecter.
Like people are I don't know. And then there was one lady, and she was black. This was a while ago though. Like one of her kids accused the other one of touching them or doing something to them in that way. So she unalived the other one because she was like, "You don't do that to my kid." But it's like they were both
your kids.
Yeah, they were both kids. They were both little.
See, people
were they both adopted?
People just straight
no, they were her kids.
Though.
Oh, they were her real kids.
And she went to prison, and they did an interview with her. She was talking about it. She was like, "That's my effing kid. What's wrong with you? You don't do that." And but it's like they both your kids. When you try to, they were kids. They wasn't like a teen. They were young kids. Like I don't know. They were under 10. Did they have different daddies? That could play a part. I don't know. I just seen the interview that I didn't just now watch it. This happened years ago. But I watched the interview of them talking to her, and she was explaining why she did it. But she was schizophrenic, I think, or bipolar or something.
So I have like two sides of a different coin. Or maybe it's the same coin. I don't know. But I feel like there's some schizophrenic people that are batshit crazy. Like crazy, bro. Like they'll come up, because I know one specifically, and I'm saying this out of experience, not ignorance, right? And it's like over the years, he wasn't that bad, and then he started getting worse depending on his social situations.
Because that's what it is. Yeah. Your environment, your interactions, that could change you. If you have a bad relationship or something, or somebody, even this is why I be listening to these commercials with these side effects, and they say there is medication for depression that says may cause thoughts of unaliving yourself.
That's crazy.
Why? If I'm already depressed, but I haven't thought, because there's a spectrum, right? Everybody that goes through depression or whatever, or that may be sad today or whatever, that doesn't mean that you thought about unaliving yourself. And if I didn't feel that way, then why the hell would I want to take something that's supposed to make me better, but now it's giving me those thoughts? Like, that's crazy. This is supposed to help me. So it could be the medication. It could be an imbalance. You're not supposed to be drinking with that, because I know people that are bipolar. I know people that are. I've been around people that are, and they and I see generally people that are like that. And even in the research, it matches up. They stop taking their meds sometime because they feel like, oh, I'm good or whatever. Which, again, even if you take the meds, you could have an adverse reaction to it and make you flip out. It's not always guaranteed. There's always side effects that could make you worse, possibly, or whatever. But then sometimes they're good and they stop taking it, and they be like, because it makes them like zombie-ish, like they're not themselves, or they don't feel like, and you can tell a difference. Sometimes they're more docile, or they're more it's like they put you to sleep, but you're awake, but you're not, coherent to the point you can tell there's a clear difference or whatever. So they feel that, and they're like, I want to be normal. I don't like feeling there's no emotion, because I basically what it's trying to do, suppress all your emotion. That's not a life. So then they don't take it, and then they start crashing out. They stop going to work. They come missing. You gotta go looking for them or go. And these are also things that could be passed down. And this is not, I'm just making this up. There's research, and I also know people that have gone through this or experienced this. I know people with family members like that. I have family members that are on medication for this stuff, and then you could pass these things down to your children also, possibly. It's not a guarantee, but it's like, yeah, some people are not that bad, but you can't say they could not be that bad today, like you said, usually, but then you would get around people that might trigger him, or have experiences that might trigger them, or whatever. So you never know with something like that what you're going to get. Like, you could be fine today, and tomorrow you could jump off a roof. or something, or want to do it. So it's like, or do something to somebody else.
That's crazy to that point. A little off track, but just, well, because I'm high, but this is just a crazy thing. Yesterday I was watching a movie, and they were in a haunted house.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sorry, a haunted hotel. And in this hotel in California, a lady was inside the hotel, gave a child, I don't know if this is okay for you to, gave birth to a child, you can say that, right?
Yeah.
They gave birth to a child, and they thought the baby wasn't alive and threw it out the window.
Out the window though?
Yeah, of the hotel.
Wow.
So they were like, it was like ghost people that were there,
And they told them to do it.
they were saying that she, because there was a lot of deletions that happened in this hotel, including one of the famous serial deleters,
So
Ramirez. So it was supposedly haunted, one of the most haunted, possibly demonic hotels in history.
What is this, American Horror Story?
No, this was just like one of those, you know how they be having them like on A&E, they be having like ghost hunters.
Oh, it's supposed to be
I went- I
real.
put
But I'm just saying that just because you was talking about how people
No, but
have those
I'm telling you about
deficiencies
something
and they
else.
just do something. She threw a baby out the window. So
That's
what?
Yeah.
crazy.
I paused real quick. I put a dot for the subject.
Yeah.
About we was talking before, don't say it because we on.
Don't
And then they might
speak.
listen and be like, oh, now we know. I just put a dot. You don't have to actually write now. I didn't put a leaf or nothing. Remember?
Or what?
Remember I said leaf,
Oh, for-
dot, don't say.
For that.
But I put a dot.
Oh, okay.
So you don't have to actually put something. As long as you put a character there.
Oh,
So
okay.
then it'll take it. But yeah, that's crazy. And this is why I think if you have a mental illness like that to where you can harm yourself, you can harm someone else, and there's no guarantee, like you're probably, well, I don't know, maybe there's some natural things that you can do to reverse those effects.
It's not gonna be
Maybe. I
mainstream,
never
man.
looked that up.
It's
or
not gonna be
whatever.
mainstream.
Yeah, it's not. But for what we know now, you can't. So me personally, if I was diagnosed with anything, any illness or whatever, mental, physical, whatever, otherwise, I wouldn't want to have a kid because if it's possible for me to pass that on, I wouldn't
You
want to do it. I feel like that's selfish.
Yeah, I feel you. What about if you did drugs and
That's why that was one of the qualifications. When I said to be able to have kids, they should do a mental evaluation, all of the bells and whistles, whatever they do, to determine that there should be both parents should be at least starting. You need to test both of them, and there need to be a financial requirement, not nothing crazy. At least 35 apiece. I'll say 35 apiece. That's enough to take care of a family or whatever. And then the more you have, then I think you should be making more money. But that, whatever, at least minimum 35 for each parent a year. And you should what did you just say? Because that was one of the, I said that was one of the requirements.
I'm way too high. I have no idea.
I forgot too.
Tell
I'm
me.
trying to think of it too. I was like, this
It was some good shit.
Yeah, but like I said, I feel like there should be. They need to pass a law, but they're probably not gonna do that. And the rate of unaliving is crazy in so many sectors. It's not even just that. We're talking about the foster care system or people, their own kids, the stuff that they're doing. But what about police brutality? What about people in prison that are getting unalived? What about people at the wrong place at the wrong time? People getting unalived in a house,
right?
huh?
Having a job, right? That's what it was.
No, I said that. I said your income should be at least $35,000 a piece for each parent. They should make at least that a year, because that would be enough. Like that's minimum. You know, that's not a crazy amount, but I feel like that's enough to be able to take care. People be wanting to be rich. You don't have to be rich, like to be or whatever, but at least enough to be able to take care of you. If you don't have
what's
no
wrong
income,
with that? I mean, I mean, not what's wrong with it, but
You can be that. I didn't say
it's
it's not
okay
wrong.
to go.
But
to go
when
hard
you're
for sin
eliminating
instead of
a
just being
whole,
complacent.
like when it comes to dating, you're eliminating a whole group of people because you want a certain dollar amount. It's okay, because
So what?
yes, I want you to be employed, but even my requirement, I feel like if you're
think
making
that's
at
pressure.
least.
I think that's pressure. I think people need that.
if people need to be realistic, because a lot of the people that are saying 6 figures and up or whatever they want a man, then all these other crazy qualifications, that nigga that's making that don't even want you, so you're delusional.
It's making
Most of the
guys work
time.
harder though. It's making
Is it?
more.
Or are people
I mean,
just
it's
not
it's a lot of
dating
incels out there that's making money. Like it's funny.
But they don't
this
want
kid
them,
went
and
on
that's what I'm
Kendra
saying.
Talking about
The
he played
women
video
that are
games and he
saying
wanted
that-
black queen.
One mic.
The women that are saying that, they don't want an incel. They want the dude that the 1%. Because he making 6 figures, he's 6 feet, and everybody's not
The incel
or
making
whatever.
6 figures.
But he don't have the other
He
requirements.
might
That's
be
what I'm
6
saying.
feet.
Those women, they don't want an incel. They want a man that they're chasing after the same man. That's why I say you not even looking at these whole other group of people or whatever. Where you don't have to. Okay, at least you could be attracted to him. At least you could be attracted to him. Like if he could have everything else, they've asked women. He could have everything else, but he gotta make 6 figures. Like you could be attracted to him. He could put it down. He's masculine. He protects you. Whatever, all the qualification that you want, but he's a a bus driver, and you're like, no.
That's why DEI.
Facts, though. That's facts,
That's
though.
what DEI is for.
That's exactly what they
So she can get her own
conclusion.
Shit. What's Paul Pierce talking about? What was that?
Paul Pierce
I don't even
said
know about that.
that
Paulie?
he said only
Fucking Paul.
only old and poor people
Talk that
should
shit.
be marriage. No, he didn't say that. Let me change
Should
it.
be alive.
Should be
No.
employed.
No,
Yeah.
he said marriage is only for old and poor people.
This motherfucker. Alright. I'm sorry. Let me just say this.
I
Let-
edited it.
He probably got
Let me just say
he
this.
got probably a lot of friends that like probably suffered because they got
I got
married.
something to say about
He
this.
was married for 13
Based
years.
Exactly,
on-
and he was married.
Based
so he has his own
on
experience.
real family sugar honey iced tea. I'm gonna throw that one out
And
there.
he's not saying love. He's just saying
Family.
marriage.
I know a family member that's been
Most
together
athletes are not going
for
to-
71 years.
I mean, most people.
They got multiple
How many of
houses,
y'all friends is married?
property. Check it out. Multiple
I actually
houses,
do have.
You got many
property.
friends
I didn't say mad, but
They
I
still
have
together.
friends that are married.
They still
went to
together.
They actually met at Job Corps, and they're
Look,
still together.
look.
They got married. And they
That's
had
90
kids.
years old. 90
My
years
cousin
old.
is married. He
90
has
years
kids.
old, they
He's
still
in the
together.
military,
You heard?
reoccurring.
You said 90 what?
90 years old, they still together,
Mhm.
right?
That's beautiful.
Who's 90?
Been
where
together
he
for
went down
70
south?
years, right?
That's beautiful.
And they got houses, multiple
Property.
That's how
Properties.
they do it. They're living the American dream. That's
African American,
that's the American dream.
and she's taking care of her husband, and he's losing his
Motor skills.
motor skills. Correct.
Damn, that's
Getting to that point.
Cause didn't he have a stroke or something?
stroke.
He
He's
was
got-
in the
he's got
hospital
dementia.
before. Oh, dementia.
Oh,
I know he was in the hospital at one point, but he came home.
She told me the craziest thing, and that's why I'm not saying what family member it is or whatever. People that know they're gonna be mad, but I'm not saying.
I
who
know,
it
cause
is.
that last
shit.
one was crazy. I tried to chop it up or whatever because,
She
and then
She
he
was
was going
mad.
hard like it was his family member.
right, yo, she was mad as H-E double hockey
Oh, she
sticks.
seen it?
No, listen. No, not about that. Not about that. About what I'm talking about now. She was mad as H-E double hockey sticks.
What happened?
Right? So first of all, let me
Take it
tell you.
out before you say
Oh
it.
yeah. You ready?
Chris is a.
Oh,
Mimi.
come
What
on.
did they said on SpongeBob?
You might have wanted a shot for what I'm about to tell you, though.
She called me a weenie.
Yo.
I'm about to find that.
Listen. Let me finish my story first.
That was funny, yo.
So,
Weenie Hut.
Damn.
Weenie Hut.
You see
Junior.
how peer
So-
pressure is
so check this shit.
She called me weenie.
She was so upset. Because he was watching porn.
Oh, at what age?
Slammed the computer.
He don't got.
Slammed all of the stuff.
Oh, he don't got it
Broke
that
everything.
much.
And he better not try to buy another one. And
Yo.
he ain't never getting another.
That is
He don't got
Never.
it. Listen, he got it. He
yo.
don't got it that bad because he remembered how to put that on.
Yo.
He must be in the early.
Listen,
in the
wait,
early
I want to
stages.
know. What do you think? Do you think at that
I
age?
don't
What do
care
I think?
about
I'm
that.
taking
If-
care of
What age is? How old is he?
We're talking 90.
I don't,
What?
I don't care about if my man.
Wait. This is the same
At
way.
that age, you still gonna
This
feel
is the
that
same
way?
way. This is the same way about dementia.
Well, here, no. Well, let's backtrack, cause like we're talking about
He must be in the early
relationships.
stages. It goes and it's not as it progresses. Then it.
A
begins.
man is
How
They
do you
normally.
have
know,
old,
though?
And they have old memories that usually they forget.
Yeah,
Present.
he could have thought he was a kid. He could have thought he was a kid at his mom's house. And he was like, yo, let me watch this, see what's going on. You know what I mean? I got some time. Come on, you know what I'm saying? And then she could have walked in and was like, oh, you doing all this nasty.
Made him feel bad about it.
Yeah, he
You
didn't
know?
know no better,
Oh,
yo.
yeah.
But you gotta
Yeah,
learn.
I-
But she said to me
What did
dearly
he say?
that I had to take classes to get more patience because I'm not a patient woman. I'm very stuck in my way. I was raised to be a strong woman, always working and doing all of this stuff. So I've always been that type of woman my whole life.
Yeah, it's kind of
You know what I
stressful
mean?
sometimes.
And
Especially
she-
when you got a
And,
disability.
and she legit real, like, you know what I mean? Like you can't even tell, man.
And she a baddie at that age.
Hey.
She still be wearing 6-inch heels,
What?
okay? And she don't take her shoes off like how some people, if their feet hurt, no, she be strutting all day with them on, okay?
Wow.
And she almost 90.
She's a confident
Yeah.
woman, right?
She gonna let
And my listen, I'm gonna tell you. The story it was like, I'm like, okay. Now obviously cause my sister and I had a discussion the other day. I have a perspective, right? But there's respect, there's all of this other stuff, and this is my great. You feel me?
Yeah.
So I have to be mindful and respectful, but I do have.
I'm surprised. I wouldn't expect her to do it. She does. She's the way she come up is so demure, and probably most of the time she probably is so demure in her tone of voice.
Relationships
She's
different.
like a lady. She's very feminine and stuff. So
Why be surprised when you know relationships is a different person?
No, but I didn't finish what I was about to say. I'm saying, but yeah, stuff happens. Everybody has their breaking point, and there's probably already a lot. Anyway, the man that you love is going through this, and on top of that, and I'm this reminds me of something else we can talk about after this. And I'm dealing with that, and then she probably feel like you have the audacity, and she probably never liked that. I think she probably was never okay with him watching that. So, because I feel like if she had
100%.
been okay with it ever,
She wouldn't have
then
tripped
she
like
wouldn't have gotten
70
mad.
years, she was never okay with it. Like, I have a problem with that. I feel like it's not even that, because it's like you have to understand that in a lot of relationships, like I've talked about this several times, you have to have a level of compromise in order for it to work. Call it tolerance, call it whatever you want to call it, but you have to have it. If you really care enough about that person to try to make a change within yourself, then compromise needs to be the change that you make. You know what I mean? You need to really think
But she
about.
told you she a strong woman.
But then it's it. A strong woman has a strong man. You know what I mean? You got to, or you have a weak dude. You know what I mean? But if you have a weak dude, you could tell how long is that gonna last. I mean, if she dragging him along, how long is she gonna like that? Or is something going on? You know what I mean? But
Usually when there's not two people of the same type of energy. There's one person that's in charge, and there's one person that takes the lead in the relationship. And if usually women that, not saying if it's a good or a bad thing, that's what works for them, or that's how their life turned out or whatever. But usually if you're a woman like that doesn't want to submit, or things like, well, I don't know if she doesn't want to submit or not.
You can't run away from it when you come, from stock of strong
they're going
women,
to, that's what I'm saying. So they're going to probably, she was probably in charge or whatever. So because you both can't be like that, or it wouldn't have,
likes that.
It wouldn't have
like
lasted.
Oh, I like how,
yeah, because
how
some men are not
assertive.
Because some men are not like that. They're like how the woman is stronger. Some men are weaker than normal men or whatever. So they go together because you both can't be I don't
but
say
it just be
you
because
both
of how the
can't
guy
be,
feels about the woman. He might not really be a weak guy.
Yeah,
he just likes her so much that he doesn't mind her being.
Yeah, but you both can't be in charge of a relationship, or it wouldn't have lasted.
And they step back because of that.
Would have to take the lead.
Like you've seen that in cases.
Somebody would have to concede
on the Cosby Show. Like, I know that's a show. I know it's a sitcom. I know it's old. I know he was giving people pills. But
what? We talking about what's the name?
Yeah, but like there's many instances on the show when he would allow her to make decisions because she was a woman, a prominent figure in her field. She was a lawyer, right? So she probably already had that kind of
but
the
the
ability.
Dynamic was she was like, you had to ask her permission. She had to say.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. You both can't be. It's for it to work. Someone has to concede, whether it's the man or the woman.
A lot of those
boomers,
a lot of those older couples that lasted was traditional values. The traditional values are Bill and Claire.
But let's go in business, right?
But it's still a gender role.
So there's the CEO in business who owns the company. And there is the manager in the company who runs the company, right? The manager has to run the company so they know the ins and outs of the company. You see what I'm saying? But the manager doesn't need to be talking CEO shit if they're not, because they're not qualified to talk CEO shit, right? So the CEO shit, if you have a good CEO, oh yeah, my bad. CEO stuff. So the CEO stuff, if you have a good CEO, you're not ever questioning the CEO. The problem is the dynamic is off because women think that, or some women think that they could question the CEO on CEO stuff. There's no boundaries, there's no line, there's no separation. And this is what I'm saying, that's not true. It's just like there's certain things that women are qualified to do that men have nothing. We shouldn't have no say. You see,
but the relationship has to go 70 years with that understanding. Like what she's saying, like if you already accepted that this is what you're gonna accept, then you've already made your bed.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what it is, and you go that long.
100%.
You know what I mean? Not saying that. I'm not saying because if it works,
we're just explaining the situation. We're not giving a stance on.
Right. If it works, it works, and it's a beautiful thing when it works. However it works. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like honestly, however it works,
you want some more?
Is good. Honestly, do you agree or not?
That's what I said. I'm not giving.
Bonnie and Clyde.
If
whatever.
It works for them. I don't tell, and it's helped. Well. That part is not. Yeah, she at least she acknowledged that she had to take a class to become more patient. Yeah. Because I went into that.
And that's solid.
And I be bugging, but my thing, I have put my hands on the person. I don't be breaking stuff. I don't put the tire, but
you'll give them a 2-piece.
But I gotta work on that. So, but like, yeah, but.
She said men. I was like, what?
Wait, what?
She was like, men,
when she said,
tired of y'all.
Men. I can't.
Oh, she was just tired of niggas in general.
I'm like, yo, men. Come on.
How old was she, 90?
She about to be next year.
That's beautiful.
They was like Thelma and Louise on this trip, man. That's so funny.
They were arguing?
Nah, they had a great time. It was lovely. She was bossing
That's
her
why
around.
I asked you that.
Thelma and Louise, they tried to drive off the cliff and then nobody knows if they made it or not.
What?
That's Thelma
Thelma
and
and Louise was like robbing Mad Banks.
I thought that was a show about two old white ladies.
I know, yeah.
I don't know.
You think about...
It is a movie, maybe.
You're talking about the couple. You saying that's... I know
Thelma and Louise. Why you say... What are you talking about?
You said robbing banks. That's that guy and that girl.
Thelma and Louise was robbing banks. They was robbing banks with Brad Pitt.
Oh, the movie.
Yeah, Thelma and Louise. Yeah.
I thought...
Okay.
Yeah, it was like partners in crime. Like, that's the whole thing. Thelma and Louise, partners in crime.
I thought you were talking about that lady and that man.
Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah.
Well, I did say Bonnie and Clyde when I was referring to relationship dynamic, but then I went talking about that because we were talking about them being in a relationship for so long, but then I'm also kind of talking about with them hanging out with each other, like women being around themselves and how they react with themselves versus being around men. Like, sometimes you don't want to be around men, but it's women in a certain dynamic. Like a woman that's in a higher position will probably not want to, have the guy just for, they might be different, but a woman in a lower position might be like, oh, they can't live without me. You know what I mean? Versus, and I still get the fact 7 years is nothing to sneeze at. So it's like they've been in a relationship for that long, so you could say you can't live without each other. Yeah. You know what I mean? But but then also the dynamic of like understanding like what she has to do now, take care of him, and to the highest capacity at this point.
Talk about taking care.
Right. So for his statement overall, because I know we got all the way left, but I use them as an example. But like Paul Pierce to say it's only for
brokies,
for broke people
and old
people. Mm-hmm. You gotta get old to have it.
I think he's upset because his marriage didn't work out. So
yeah, I mean, it's a lot of that, but I also feel like the message, because when it's coming from a person that's at that level, you get that message misconstrued and think that, okay, this is Bible, or this one's got to be true because he's rich.
I think he should be tested.
He's dead wrong.
I just think it should be tested.
He's dead wrong.
I feel like if you're gonna
test it,
if you're gonna say that
on the person,
hold on, Smiley.
Give up. If you want to be married,
hold on, Smiley. For him to say that, let's play devil's advocate right quick, right? For him to say that, right? And E said something that's important. She said that it was his experiences that made him feel this way about this now.
Possibly.
Right? So, and I agree. I believe it definitely was his experiences that made him feel that way. You know what I mean? And he felt like he had enough information to say he's against marriage. He didn't say he's against love or companionship. He didn't say he's with being with somebody forever. He said he's not with or he said not even he's not with. He just feels like marriage is for old people and broke people, or people that don't have a certain amount of money. He may be right in this country because of how
some people do get married.
He may be right because of in this country how marriage is a sham, basically. You see what I'm saying? It's like it's not, marriage doesn't have the greatest light, especially in America, especially if you have a lot of money. You see what I'm saying? Because you don't know if the person really loves you until you don't have nothing and this person still wants to be with you, or still, rides it out with you. Because a lot of these people are going to ride it out with you. And you don't want to marry those people. You don't. But guess what? If you don't have a certain level of income, then these are something that you're going to have to worry about, or you don't have to worry about. But if you have that income and you realize that this woman may just want you because she knows that you're going to be, she's going to be well taken care of because of the bag, then you have to also understand that there's going to be a resentment built up to the whole thing. You see what I'm saying? Because he's just looking at it from his perspective. So I could kind of get that. You see what I'm saying? I could kind of get the fact of why he would be saying that. And I'm not going to say he's all the way wrong, because look at his situation. Like, he can't go into it thinking that, oh, this girl is gonna love him for him. You know what I'm saying? He has to go into it first, like, yo, she wants something, and there's a price, and I gotta see if I want to deal with this price for the rest of my life or not. And he probably don't, and well, he definitely don't, because that's why he said what he said. So it's, you know what I mean? Like, I can understand what he's saying, but I do agree with y'all. I feel like it's something that shouldn't be looked upon like that, because his marriage is supposed to be beneficial. It's supposed to be you and your person building. You know what I'm saying? That's never a bad thing, especially if you have kids. You leave a legacy. Your kids grow up and to be decent human beings out here. We're not saying perfect. We're saying decent. Like, they do the right thing when they can most of the time. You see what I'm saying? That's all you could, you know what I mean? That's all you could really hope for real. But if you just had that notion, like, you know what I mean, you don't care, or, you know what I'm saying? And there's that too. Like, you know what I mean? You're going to be known for your actions, what you do, what you don't do, all of that. So, you know.
And speaking of taking care of your spouse or your man, there's this girl. She's young. She's probably like between 20s to my age.
Okay.
I'm assuming. I don't really know how old she is, but looking at her, I was trying to find the video, but I can't find it. But she posted a video, and her man was Pume. And
what's that?
somebody tried to unalive him.
Oh no.
With a.
He survived?
He survived that?
With a pistol. Yeah.
Oh, I seen this.
And she
it
nursed
out.
him back to health. He had like a dent in his head. Like but he couldn't talk. He was in a wheelchair. Like, he still has like.
He's regular now?
He's not fully,
No,
but he can understand and he could talk.
He
but he
cheated on her?
sound.
No.
Yeah.
How you cheat on her and
He
you
cheated on her?
He cheated
like
on her
that,
before
bro?
and
How
after.
you cheat on her when
And
you like
after?
It was with
How do it happen, bro?
Baby.
You can laugh in this situation.
No, you can't.
How he cheated on her? Yes, you can.
Well,
How
me
he
finish
cheated
the whole
in that
thing.
state?
Because first she was like, she not going to take care of him. She nursed him back to like.
That's crazy.
He couldn't
bro.
talk anymore. At first, he couldn't talk. He couldn't understand. He was in a wheelchair. Everything.
Do you think it's
she
crazy?
stayed with him. Listen. She stayed with him. She helped him learn how to speak again. He went to therapy and all that, whatever. And he learned how to speak again. Learned how to understand. He can walk now. He's not in a wheelchair no more. And she stayed with him through all that time. But now she said she didn't even say nothing about. She didn't even say nothing about that. She said she just thinks the relationship has run its course.
That's what it was, though.
She just thinks the relationship has run its course.
Nah, it was
that.
Ain't no relationship.
What do y'all think about that? She still never said that they were cheating. What happened was his family felt some type of way. She never said nothing about that. His family was like, his mom came out and was like, because she's like, oh, I had him, I was taking care of him, I did this, and that, and the family don't like her or got some issue or whatever. And the family, his family or whatever, and she was the mother. The mother was like, listen. The mother was like, oh, what happened? Did you ever cheat on her? He can't even talk. Like, he could talk, but I was trying to find the video, but like, he can't even talk right.
He's slurring.
Not even that good.
Yo.
But he understood what she said. He was trying to. He was like, did you cheat? Yes or no? And he was he was saying stuff, and she was like, did you cheat? Do you hear that? Did you cheat? Did you? She kept asking him.
I was just watching.
Come on, bro.
Yeah, he tried to. He was saying, stop.
Come on, man.
That's not even funny because.
I'm trying.
You can't do this, and we about to get.
No, we not, yo. What I'm talking about?
No, we not.
I played the piano.
Yo, this nigga is out of control, yo. I'm sorry, I had to get that out. All right,
Listen, this is great.
But
I
yeah, the
understand.
mom was asking, but I don't
But
even
I still
know
think
if
she
the
grimy. I think she grimy because
Wow, we all agree on that.
yeah,
who's grimy?
her.
Who?
The woman that's gonna lead this dude because
Most people wouldn't
he
even
cheated and
say
he was
that one. She
crippled.
took. That's not. She didn't say that. She said that. How do we even? First of all, if he's saying that he's cheating, because she never brought that up. This is
He
a
a valuable
video.
man.
This is a video.
Yeah, high value man.
No, he's not, because he didn't get.
The
she
H
don't
is
get-
not for high. But he's a valuable man.
Yo, like I was saying,
He cheated on her. He grimy, bro.
I felt like his
He knew what
biggest
he was doing.
his biggest crime of this situation was if he cheated on her. And I'm just saying that's just regular shit. And the reason why I believe this is because it seems like he was still functioning enough to have sex with her. And I feel like if that wasn't the case, I believe that she would have left earlier. But because she loved him, she stuck with him, she nursed him back, she spent all that time. A lot of times you get
Most women would have left.
Hold on. A lot of time you have a resentment with the person that you're taking care of because you feel like they kind of owe you. And if cheating was involved, I think that would be the biggest concern. Because it's like I'm doing all of this for you, and
You're not even doing this to me.
Exactly. And then it's like, yeah. So I'm not saying that did happen, but I'm saying if that happened, I could see why she got fed up and was like, I'm good now.
And the standard's dumb low, because, like, why you messing with somebody that's like that?
Her man
Who?
after
No, she looking for
she nursed him back to health.
I think it's crazy. I mean,
That's
I
why.
can't really, cause why even take on that task if you have your doubts? Cause I know, like,
She never said nothing about that, so I don't know.
no,
And the mom
they don't have to say it,
because
cause
can't even talk.
Cause that's the biggest answer. Even if
She
even though
wasn't
she didn't say
upset.
it.
She didn't say she was mad.
She
She
ain't gotta
wasn't
say
putting him
it.
down
Yeah,
or saying nothing about it. So
Especially-
y'all making
especially-
up your own.
No, I'm just saying. I'm
Really
just
just
saying.
say
E,
face,
E,
not gonna say
I'm just
it.
saying. I'm just saying that
Really
if
just say
that
face,
if
you're
that
not gonna
was
say
the
you're upset.
case, then I could understand why she was like, "Nah, I'm good."
This is that. But I'm still looking for the video when they was talking.
Yeah, I think that she would still have sex with that man. He looked like he could probably still function.
I mean, if they said, because she said, did you cheat
He was
before?
eating it
He
without
said,
teeth.
He has
I could
teeth.
say
He
that
has
on
teeth.
YouTube.
He has teeth. What are you talking about?
No, but I'm saying without biting.
Oh, he's still.
You know what I mean? So he was regular, like, to a certain extent.
I mean, he
Now
probably wasn't
he
smiling as much.
He wasn't able to talk or understand or do anything. Now he still could barely. He talked like
Was he
how
like?
our uncle
Was he
used
like?
to sound.
Was he like?
You Dwayne.
Was he like
Was he
doing
like-
the
This nigga's stupid.
like breakdancing type?
Yo,
Was he like that? That's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna
silly
I'm
as
not gonna
ever,
do too much. I ain't smoked weed all weekend, bro.
I
Like,
feel you.
I'm letting it
Bro,
out.
out there in the clouds.
Sorry.
I was.
People
too,
love
bro.
it,
I'm
man.
just
They
not
like
coming
it.
down. I ain't gonna front. I'm about to start slowing down with the weed,
This
bro. I
is-
feel like the older I get, the more chemicals they putting in this shit.
Tonight, I want to have a
What
really
is
deep,
this?
heavy
That's her talking.
conversation.
Oh, you about to have a petty conversation about what I'm saying.
I want
This
to
is
talk
the
about
person?
a few things that have been sitting on my
Yeah.
heart. I think
That
we should
must
do
be
it
a
at
little forward
8
picture.
p.m. Central. It's like 5 here right
Oh,
now in
he's
the Minnesota,
totally
so it's gonna be
different.
Central Time. I've been with Jamal 3 years before he got hurt, and then 5 years after when he got hurt. That's when he got his TBI.
Listen to
And
you,
one thing for sure
Traumatic brain
is,
injury.
before that man got his TBI, he loved the ground that I walked on. Like, there's nothing I could ask for. There's nothing that didn't get handled. Nothing. But, you know, after his injury, a lot of things have changed, you know. And we
Obviously.
sit online and we talk about, you know, what's the same and, you know, what's different. But we're always, like, talking about personality and stuff. But the whole thing about it is, I stayed, I loved him through it. I do love him through it. When he couldn't talk, when he couldn't walk, I stayed because that's unconditional love, you know. Not your ability to do for me or what you have done for me.
It's
you know,
not unconditional.
Just the situation. I know the person.
A condition made y'all say, I'm not doing this no more.
But sometimes,
No, that's just give access. If you still love them, then
their love changes.
Exactly.
And, you know, they
It's not
change.
unconditional.
access has nothing to do with how you feel about the person. You can love somebody and not be in their life.
So
Add
my
unconditional.
the person
If
you
somebody
choose,
dies, you
start
don't
doing
love them
that
no
for
more, but you don't have access to them no more.
Yeah,
so
but
you
I
can't
wouldn't
see
I
them.
wouldn't say I didn't have unconditional love for somebody
She
that
didn't.
died that I love forever.
She didn't say, you
But
said she
that
didn't
person-
have unconditional.
She said she didn't have
No,
unconditional
she
love.
said it is unconditional.
It's
You
not
said
unconditional though. If she
it's
stopped
not.
talking
No,
to
that's
him,
access.
she
That's
loves.
not how she feels. You can't tell somebody, say, oh, you're lying, you don't love me. They just not with you no more. They don't have access to you. That doesn't mean that they don't love you because they're not in your life. If somebody tried to kill you, for example, you could still love them because of who they are or what they did to you. Some people will still love someone even after they did that.
So
but
you're
you're trying to kill me,
Listen
so I
to what
can't,
I'm
or try to unalive me, so I
Okay.
can't keep putting myself in
If
danger.
you're trying
that
to kill
doesn't mean
somebody,
I don't
that-
love you no more, but I
Hold
will
on.
live. So
If-
what's more important?
If you have, if somebody's trying to kill you specifically, isn't that a condition of love? Like, yo, you're letting everybody that's trying to unalive you be in love with those people? No, that's your condition. You don't want nobody that's gonna bring harm to you. So that's a condition of why you don't want to deal with this person. In her
Not
situation,
dealing
hold
with them doesn't mean that you don't love
Hold
them.
on, let me make a point. Her
One is a
situation,
feeling,
her
one
situation.
is not a feeling.
All right, cool. Regardless if you think it's a feeling, I'm just saying have unconditional or conditional love means your actions, not your feelings. Your actions change because of how you feel. So if your actions change because of how you feel, that's a condition of why you can't love the person the same way that you were originally loving this person. And this is all I'm saying. She changed her love stance for this person because she believed that she was supposed to feel the same way. As soon as her feelings got out of it, then guess what? She don't love him the same. She don't want to be around. The access changes. You see what I'm saying? And that's based off of a woman feeling one way.
Joint? That's the other joint? That's the other girl?
It's the same
What
people.
other girl? It's
Or
the
that's
same
her?
person. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, this was a new
Is
person?
this before or after?
That's him. You don't hear how he talks.
Oh yeah, it is after.
Chill. Why you
She's
trying to
asking,
blame
is it before or after? And I'm saying, listen to him.
him? She's trying to play him.
You know what number that is.
That's called me, and they were like, and he keep on saying, what is it? And I was like, what?
This is crazy. All I'm saying is women is very emotional, so they'll act out of emotion more likely than
But
act
A lot
out
of
of
men
But
are
I
emotional
like
too,
to
that's
just
why
say, I
women
like to simply just disagree.
You're
want,
I don't
like
think
certain
I don't
guys
think marriage is just
that would
for
probably,
old
she would probably be
people.
with somebody that got shot.
and
I don't
poor
know what
people.
happened.
I think
if he
marriage
was,
is for
but
anybody
if
that
you have a
can
certain
endure
demeanor,
what you
usually.
have
Are they
to
married?
tolerate.
They weren't married. They was in a relationship, right?
Yeah, I don't think
Right.
they-
But then still, even when you get to a point, I mean, that's what I'm saying. If you were married and that person just decided marriage, you don't just do something like that. So that's why I say, like, I don't really care about people that's not married when I'm talking about married shit. I'm sorry, stuff, because it really doesn't apply to them. They live like a nomad type of life situation. Like, they go with the flow. You can't go with the flow in your relationship. It's we. Everything is us. It's not just yourself. You thinking about the other person when they not even thinking about you.
Yeah,
You should be doing it. And it should be the way with them.
right now.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, that's how it's supposed to be, but it's not like that because everybody want to be their own person, and it's never going to work like that in a real relationship. For that to work, you got to understand that sometimes you're not going to like this person. People don't even want to deal with, oh, I'm not going to be with somebody I'm not going to like. You're not going to ever want to always be around person. I got family members I don't always want to be around. You understand what I'm saying? But I love them.
Yeah.
Just like she was saying.
So you force yourself to.
So that's
Yeah. So I'm like, yo, you know what? I'm
Everybody
going to be
force-
around.
Not everybody.
Everybody can't do it, but that's the difference.
You know
When
what
you
I'm saying?
decide that you want to be in a marriage, you're accepting that. So you accepting things that haven't happened yet. These are things that are yet to come.
So how do you feel about marriage in general?
Yeah,
Do
you could-
feel like
you
I feel like it's
That's
not
what
for the
I'm
faint
saying,
of
a lot of
heart. It's
people-
not for people that run away from commitment.
do you feel
Because
like it's
like
worth
you
it?
said, family. Like I be taking
Do you
go-
feel
I
like
be
it's worth it at
hibernating.
the end of the day to get married in today's generation?
Today's generation, we need it though. You know what I mean?
I know we need
feel-
it.
So like,
We
so
need
they're like,
commitment.
yeah.
It doesn't
So they're
have
like,
But we
yeah.
know we don't need
But-
just any marriage.
I'm not saying we do kind of need just any. We was happy about Papoose and Remy
I mean,
until it fell apart.
exactly why you don't need
So that's what I'm
anything.
saying. We
Like, you
need
see what I'm saying?
it.
We need
to
successful
understand that
marriage.
people are together and understand how it works.
We need successful marriage.
When it works for a long time, it works for a long time because we have to understand the nature of who we are in our relationships. Can you deal with yourself? And if you feel like you can deal with yourself, then someone else should be able to deal with you. If you feel like you're difficult, then you know that somebody's going to have a challenge with you. Are you able to compromise on those challenging areas on yourself for the person that you really want to be with? Then you got to think about, well, are you giving anybody a chance to even...
Yo, I don't.
So she dragging him
You
now.
gotta relax. So
No,
anyway.
they had a channel. She would post content throughout his recovery and everything. She said it was 5 years took him to get to the point that he's at now. Cause his head was like dented in. His head is healed now. Like he's doing better. Cause he couldn't talk or nothing.
So what they do?
She had a channel.
How they fix that dent? What
He
do they do?
I don't know. Maybe he had surgery on that, but he got speech therapy and he
Because
had
the
physical
dent's not there
therapy and stuff.
anymore.
No, when it first happened, it don't look like.
Because a
it.
dent don't disappear.
They
Like
must
that's a
have did.
bone.
They must have
so
got
that
surgery.
so you have to cut the bone out and replace it with metal or something.
Yeah, he must have had surgery. That's what I said. But he went
And then
to
sometimes
physical therapy.
they don't want to do that if it's touching the brain because
Can I
it
ask y'all
could
a
cause
sensitive
neurological
question?
damage.
Do you
It
think-
cause neurological
do you
damage
think-
from the impact anyway?
Do y'all think that in marriage, women usually outlive their husbands
Yes.
because they give them their burdens?
Yes.
It's like women are very open about their emotions and how they're feeling, so they'll let
We
you
keep
know,
them in. They let them out.
exactly.
Right.
What do you think, E?
Some men keep them in. A lot of men nowadays are very expressive.
Let's talk about
Emotions.
majority though. What do you think? Do you think that the
It's
reason why
becoming the majority.
the reason
That's
why no
a lot
I'm
of
saying
women are single.
I'm saying the reason
option
why
is
the
one thing,
successful
so you might as well be
marriages,
with a woman.
let's say
Now
it's successful marriages. We're just speaking about successful
Uh-huh.
marriages and women. Do you
They
believe
say
that women
statistically
out
that men die. I don't know. Before
men die? Yeah,
But I
exactly.
don't know why. But they say.
Do you believe that women have a contributing
I said I
factor
don't
to
know.
it?
I answered the question.
Okay. Well, I also believe that there is some reasoning to that, and I don't know either for sure, but I will say that makes sense, especially to the couples that made it to that age. It's always something it's always something that
It's
you know,
compromise. Compromise is clearly
yeah,
there.
it's definitely
I mean,
compromise.
in every situation,
It's definitely
with
compromise.
the elder relationships.
But there's
the
a
reason
difference
that the
between
older people do last is because
not older people,
they-
older men.
older men,
'Cause
right?
the men
Because
are
they're
the ones dying
they're
first.
established in some form of type of business, have some type of income, have some type of leadership.
I mean, certain
That-
jobs keep them alive, though.
Right.
You know, a lot of men probably die when they retire.
Right. But
Or they die
that
from the stress
is what
of a job.
compels-
Yeah, it
If
could
they're
be.
working with
That
the
is
Could
what
be.
compels
But I'm just talking about
the woman, because the
relationships
woman-
the
that
food that they're eating.
the woman might be in a
lot of
similar
people
type
are
of work,
unaliving way
or
before they should.
the
But
woman
if their
might
wife is eating the same
commend
Maybe
what
she's
this
not.
guy.
and that's
Or
that's
she's
a
eating
problem.
smaller portions because she's
Mm.
not the same size as he is. Or some women are more particular about their weight and stuff like that, so they eat dainty and stuff like.
Okay.
In that particular situation,
Okay.
like she is into like her health and stuff like that, so she don't she might eat the same thing, but it doesn't matter how much of it you're putting in because the accumulation of the negative bacteria is what causes you to get sick. So the more you put in, and then if you don't take it out, if you're not exercising and doing stuff like that, and then it could be work to add it to the stress. It could be a relationship. There are a number of factors.
Maybe she's nagging him
to
to eat better, and he don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? You never know what the situation is.
It'd be all types of stuff.
All I'm saying is there is a factor that there is factors that a wife does play in all marriages where it's negative. Just like men too. Like there's factors where there's bad leadership. You see what I'm saying? But overall, if we're talking about overall and generality and things of that nature, I think usually the statistics is that way because usually the man, like you said, just is taking it all in. And he's not really expressing it and getting it all out. And I feel like
because if he do, the relationship
it's going to be different. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Because certain women can't handle certain information. Right? They can't disattach feelings from just what it is and how we're going to.
Because it could, I mean, but my whole point is
depends on
it can work.
If you're a stoic man and
if you're in a situation when you're with somebody that you want to
carry yourself that way,
one person has to say, I'm gonna care more than the other person. And I've always said that the woman has to love the man more.
I believe that too, but I also believe
it's a harder situation when it's the opposite way. You're gonna have a situation where you're shamed for doing a manly thing.
I believe a woman could love you more, but I also believe a woman will switch up faster. You see what I'm saying? Like a woman will just be like, you know what, my happiness is more important than.
Oh yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And then they'll dip. You see what I'm saying? Versus a man who's like, no, my happiness is more important.
You think I won't choose myself over everything else?
100%. Those type of men get called out of their names because they choose not to deal with it. But a lot of men tough it out. You see what I'm saying? The modern man.
If you're a woman and you say, I'm gonna choose myself every time. And the dude is in a relationship with you, and he decides to accept that. And y'all continue to be in a relationship for 30, 40, 50, 60 years. That man is either a beast or a mouse.
I don't know.
Because look, first of all, any type of imprisonment, you did hard time, you should be like, yo, he did that, she did that. So if you did 50 years having to endure something that's probably intolerable to others, that's beast mode. That's how you become Bane. But if you was in that situation, you were actively being abused, it says something different about you. You can be a masochist. You like to get hurt. You know what I mean? Or maybe you are just a weenie.
Weenie Hut.
Weenie Hut.
And you had to prove your masculinity to get in.
That's crazy.
Like you had to knock somebody out. Or do something crazy. Like, I'm so bad.
Burn yourself on fire.
Yeah,
Wait. I wouldn't burn myself on fire. Not for anybody.
Let's talk about when people be like, you hating. Like, I hear a lot of people say, like, if somebody gives them criticism or, their opinion, then they're like, oh, you just hating. For example, like, if somebody said that you were overweight, the F word, and maybe you were,
The old Lizzle.
Yeah.
The old Lizzle.
If you were, or whatever, and then you
funny.
turn. And now I don't think that you should just go around saying that to people, because what is the purpose? Are you helping? Are you going to help them get in shape after you said it, or are you just being an a-hole and you trying to hurt them? Like, I don't agree with saying that, but if somebody said that and then your response is, oh, you just hating, but they go to the gym, they eat right.
It depends on where it comes from, though.
Then it's like, it do depend. But if someone that was in shape and wasn't your size and they were fit, like, what? How are they hating on you for that? It doesn't even make sense. It's just
because
they're just justifying that situation, and
why
they
they're
try to
hating
turn
though?
it around on them.
You know why they're hating
hear
though?
what they're saying.
Because
not
why
hating.
should they
You're
have
saying
to
a
hear
fact.
what they have to say? Just because it's a fact doesn't mean that you have to bother somebody out of their leaving you alone, and then you're bothering them with how you feel. Like, I don't care. I don't know you. You see what I'm saying? Not everybody's opinion matters for that very fact, because it depends on who's it coming from. So if somebody just feels like, yo, I don't like this music, it's different if I ask you for your opinion versus if you're just telling me I don't like this shit. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to just tell me. You could just feel that way and then go about your business. But if you go out your way and be like, yo, I don't fuck with this shit, and then you literally, I didn't ask you, I didn't say, hey, listen to this and tell me how it sounds, now you're hating. You see what I'm saying? Because you went out your way to make me feel bad about my work. That's hating. That's hating. You see what I'm saying? If I asked you if I wanted to help, then that's different. Because now I asked for your opinion. I want help. I want to better myself.
Well, now
I
that we
think
got
it's
rid
only
of DEI,
considered. I
don't have to, you know.
I think it's only considered hating if I want to be in the position that you're in, and that's why I'm saying it. Like, if I'm
Not
saying your
necessarily.
music is trash and I feel like mine is better, and I've been working hard and I can't get signed, and you're on or whatever, and I say, then that is like you're jealous. But if I'm saying it and it's an actual fact, and I don't want to be, it is mean to just say something like that about somebody, but if it's true, that ain't hating, you're stating a fact. You just an a-hole for bringing it to, and you don't have to go out of their way. If somebody posts a picture and you could see that they're overweight and you comment, that ain't going out of your way. You just wrote a comment. Should you do it? That's nasty. But that doesn't mean that you're hating. Hating would mean I want your spot.
That is hating if you choose to do it because you didn't have to do it. Yeah. If you're going out your way to do it, that's hate.
That's not going out.
It is hate because you know why? You know why it's not hate? You know why it's not hate? Because you don't know that person is gonna fix themselves based on what you said. You don't know how that person is gonna take it. That person can unalive themselves based off of the criticism that they know about each other. But guess what? They didn't want to hear it from a stranger.
The trolls going wrong.
You see what I'm saying? So it depends.
And that's the problem. People don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Some people need to hear some stuff.
Yes,
if you're going down the wrong path, and I'm saying this to you, it don't matter if you want to hear it or not, and it don't mean I'm hating because you don't like it.
But that gotta come from love.
That's just you not wanting to take accountability, so you're flipping it around on the other person.
That comes from love. That comes from love and comes from consideration. It doesn't come from listen.
Statement could be true regardless of who
it's not about it's being true. It's being helpful. It's being true.
If somebody else said it, now you're gonna.
It's not just about being true.
It's
not just about being true. It's about being helpful. So at the end of the day, if you hold on, if you say something,
because they worried about your feelings, but somebody that don't know you don't care about your feelings, but that don't mean in certain instances you shouldn't take into account what they're saying.
If you tell somebody anything, right, they have to consider it, who it is and why they told you that, right? So if it's somebody you don't know and you don't care about, and you come out and you say, yo, I think you're overweight, they're gonna take it how they're gonna take it, and you can't control that. But you can control how you feel and say, look, I know that this person is this, but I'm not going to make them feel bad about it, because if they can't change it tomorrow, or you see what I'm saying? If I'm not going to go out of my way and help them change that, then why am I bringing that up just to make this person feel aware of something that they probably had to live with their whole life? You see what I'm saying? So it's literally like, yo, discernment, like when to say certain things. and see how it helps you versus when to say certain things and be like, oh, because it's true, I'm gonna stand behind that instead of how it's gonna make somebody feel. Certain people don't give a fuck about how somebody's gonna receive certain information, and the information be true. That's going all the way back to the 50 Cent joint. Like, Joe Budden says something that we all agree might have some truth to it, 100%. But
what Fab said? What Fab said in his verse?
what?
Something. Why they feel comfortable with me telling you how that go?
Don't tell me that nobody was talking about me. Tell me why they feel comfortable telling you or something like that.
Right.
But that ain't talking about what he's saying.
Yeah, a little different.
He actually responded, and that's another thing. You post something on the internet because since you brought that up, you can't, just like you said, you can't you can't control how somebody responds to something. When you post things online, people are gonna reply to it, and you obviously wanted a response, or you wouldn't have posted it. You posted it for a reason.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna get mad at what somebody said, and that's again not being able to recognize he could have been trying to be funny, but we don't know that, and I don't think that he was. He probably really meant it, because what he said was a little disturbing to me. I don't make fun of people that passed away, regardless if I got along with them or I didn't like them or not. I don't think it was funny. I never said that's what somebody gets, haha.
That's what he said?
When something happened, something along
He
those.
was smoking on Earth Pack.
So that's basically the same thing. It's laughing about it.
Playing,
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Okay, so you're making a joke. So that's, to me, normal people, most people, unless you go around, unless you're somebody that lives that lifestyle and there's something that you do and you be catching bodies, or you were in that life, that's why he moved like that. Normally civilians or people that didn't, and he didn't do anything to him, but I'm saying he comes from that lifestyle, so he has a different mindset. People that are civilians don't think like that. They don't laugh about stuff like that. And even back in the day, well, he didn't do it, but back to like the Vaughn stuff, when did it become cool to like brag about catching bodies and like post it on social media and say that you did and start saying that you're smoking on? Now, when people used to do that, they would keep it to themselves. Even a person that they committed the crime, but they didn't talk about it no more. We handled it as okay, we ain't discussing this no more. That's it. You never bring it up again. Now you posting it. That's cool. That's not cool. Something's wrong with you if you think it's cool to laugh at. So you can get mad or say it, but the fact is you posted it online and somebody's gonna respond if you post it online.
You know what it is too?
You need to grow up.
You know what it is too? To answer her question, when did it start being cool? It started being cool when like John Gotti used to do it back in the day. It started being cool with like Sammy the Bull or people like that started speaking about what they were doing. And Sammy the Bull kind of got worse a reputation because they tried to say he was a snitch or whatever. But like there were certain people in the mafia, like back in the day, like, right, that were notarized because they were talking about what they were doing. And the mafia didn't like that because, like E said, that's dumb. Why are you saying here glorifying all this wicked stuff that you're doing? Is dumb. Like you're putting it out there.
They weren't happy that they were doing it.
No, they were. They were celebrities.
No, the people that you talking about that was snitching and talking about it. But a normal person that does stuff like that, they don't do a dance after they do it or think it's funny or whatever. They feel bad about it.
You're supposed
they have a negative reaction. It's not. That's what I'm saying.
The coolness.
So that's why what he said is not. So like he's offended by it because there's some truth to it. Like something is not clicking. Like you need to do something. It maybe not therapy, but you need to do something because you shouldn't.
Is he gonna do it though? Realistically,
he's not. It doesn't matter.
That's what I'm saying.
You don't have to listen to him. Nobody's gonna make you, obviously. And then to go further, now you see him at a game and now you want to antagonize him and post a picture. You need to grow up. You're too old for that. Like, why are you doing that? He doesn't say he wanted to fight you. He wasn't talking. He made one comment. You took it the wrong way because, like I said, I don't think he was saying like that. And people could say, oh, Joe, I don't agree with everything Joe says, but this particular thing, I do agree. Maybe not therapy because me, you saying that's not for everybody, okay, but he needs to do some healing. Something is right, and you just keep on proving it because you're too old to be, like, doing the things that you're doing. And then Melissa Ford gonna go on, they had a podcast or whatever, and they were talking about like, oh, guys be thinking that they could fight, they be delusional or whatever, but then when reality kick in, then it'd be another story when you in that situation. And then then she was like, right, Joe, like at the game. And then she looked at him and walked by, and then he just was quiet, and nobody said anything, and Ish put his hood over his head and was like.
In Mel's defense, they've been getting at her.
And she know he can't say nothing because he already stepped to him.
Exactly.
So it was just
that
silent.
was strategic.
But no, but
hold on. Let me tell you. Hold on. Let me tell you how I feel about that. Let me tell you how I feel about that personally. I think that was clever in the sense of. She's been getting a lot of hate on the Joe Budden podcast because I tune in.
Yeah,
She's been hold on. She's been getting a lot of hate for the Drake situation because Drake made a comment about Joe Budden on his latest album.
What did he say?
He basically was saying Mel was sitting next to the D-sucker.
Oh. And
everybody know that was a shot towards Joe Budden. And Mel was trying to act like, I don't know who was a shot to, but I'm happy that I got bigged up on the song. You know what I'm saying? Like, she got bigged up on the song because he also said that, she was a queen of the dot and all this other song. So here nor there. Then this situation happened with 50. I agree with what you're saying. Like 50 probably might need therapy, but is he gonna get it? Probably not. So. You know what I mean? I have to understand as a man that if I can't change the person, then I know that I'm not going to waste my time to say certain things. Because like he said, he'll go that route where it's forever. And it was forever with Supreme. It was forever with Herb. It's forever with Ja. It's usually forever. The only person that it wasn't forever with was the Lots. And that made more sense because you lose credibility trying to devalue, not even Kim, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. You lose credibility trying to devalue somebody who's well respected, and the Lox is well respected. We can't say that about Ja because a lot of people switched up on Ja. We can't say that about certain rappers because a lot of people switch up on rappers. But when people survive eternal beast with 50 is usually because they have a solid fan base and they got solid people in their corner that, you know what I'm saying, really, really rock with them. But yeah, like I understand what you're saying. Like he might need it, but
and then that's corny too because Joe not like that.
That's
and
what
he
I'm
never
saying.
Said, but he never came at you on no rah like I want to fight.
Matter.
You just took it that way because you don't know because you're emotional. There's all different forms of being emotional because you doing all of that and taking a picture and doing that's being emotional because you can't control yourself and you're a businessman. You're too old for that. You have children that are looking up to you. That's why your son acts the way that he does because you wonder why he don't fuck with you. And you're like this is not acceptable. Like you could be like, oh, that's why there's a wrong and right in society. Yeah, some stuff are just thoughts that people have, but it's like you don't have to move like that. He probably won't get no help. He probably not gonna do nothing. And what help could you really get in that situation? There's only certain things you could say to a therapist, so he probably never. But it's not okay, is what we're saying. Like you can't just ignore and then put it on him and be like, oh, he should have kept his mouth shut. He should have never said nothing. He shouldn't have posted online. Nobody would have had nothing to say because you kept it inside your head. So it could have all been prevented if you never posted that. Because why would someone in their right mind say that? To me, something wrong with you.
You can't control
you
like you
control.
Said. Hold on. Let me
He didn't say I'm gonna sign you. He didn't say I have someone. I'm gonna give you my therapist number. He made one statement and he took it off.
Can I finish?
After that,
can I finish? Certain people. Okay. So hold on. You know certain people.
Say one thing.
Go ahead.
He do got a platform.
100%. But further than he got a platform, you know how he plays with people that get in his business. So if we know this person knows how to play this game and they're good at this game, that's like saying, oh, well, I could still play them and I still got a chance. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you still got a chance, but you're gonna have to deal with the opposition who knows the game that they're in. The game is advertising. So you're saying that, this is bad for business. Not really, because this keeps 50 relevant. He's a rapper. When was the last rap album that he dropped?
And I
You see
said
him?
that.
So hold
I said
on.
that.
So what I'm
I
saying,
said he could do it.
so
but
hold
that
on.
doesn't mean
Hold
he makes enough
on.
money, so people are gonna excuse the behavior.
I'm
like
not
you're doing.
excusing it. I'm not excusing it because, like I said, I agree with you. But what I'm saying is there is consequences in dealing with certain people if you know better. If you know, hey, this person doesn't play, and if I give my opinions publicly, he's gonna attack me publicly. Period. Regardless if I'm right, regardless if I'm wrong, regardless if he's emotional, regardless of anything, and he's gonna clown me. Regardless, and I have to deal with it. There are some people that don't want to deal with it. What you're saying is, yo, people.
Well, he dealt with it.
No, what you're saying is Joe Budden shouldn't have had to deal with what he had to deal with 50 just because Joe Budden was right. And I agree with you. But guess what? If I know that he's going to deal with that, I'm not going to sit here. Hold on.
I didn't.
I do know because I've seen it.
I didn't say.
I do know because I've seen it. You've seen it a whole bunch of times. It don't matter. It don't matter. It don't matter. You do know. You do know.
That shouldn't be
Smiley just said because you have a platform. So when you give your opinion on a platform and we're all rappers, guess what? You're free game. Now I'm gonna use my brand to pick on your brand.
You called him crazy.
I'm gonna use my brand to pick on your brand because you went out of your way to give your opinion. It's like, guess what? I agree, but at the end of the day, our platform isn't that big where 50's gonna give a damn. But he's gonna give a damn on Joe Budden's platform. He's gonna give a damn on Act. He's gonna give a damn if Charlamagne said it. You see what I'm saying? Once we get there, yes, E, you're gonna have to stand on what we say. So we shouldn't have said
it. So let's not say it then.
No, we can feel like how we feel like.
Exactly.
Guess what?
You should be able to control yourself and not go off the deep end because somebody made a comment after you posted something. That was crazy.
What we will do is change our content once we get to a certain position. I'm changing. Me personally, I'm not going to sit here
and... Like what happened with Cam and Melissa Ford.
That's what I'm saying. As soon as somebody takes what we say out of pocket and we're at the same level, now we come.
You can't really necessarily, like you said,
and this is going
that was crazy because she accused them of something. That's a different.
But it don't matter how you feel about somebody; they're gonna react, and if it don't correlate, then guess what?
He didn't say that. Oh, you were probably with underage girls. That's a whole different. She deserved that. Maybe not to that extent. He overreacted too. But you accused me of a crime. That's not the same thing as what Joe said to 50.
Calling somebody crazy. Insult is an insult. I mean, there's levels to an insult.
What would you be more upset about?
You're still insulting somebody.
I would be more upset about the Mel Jones, for sure. But at the same time, I still would be upset if somebody felt like I needed therapy and I didn't. Hold on. Listen to what I'm saying.
That's why you gotta take into account what somebody's saying, because you're getting
not letting me say what I'm trying to say.
You're just thinking like, oh, because I need that doesn't mean you're crazy.
You don't do it on your platform. You don't make me a part of my show to say, hey, you need therapy.
He posted it on social media.
That's even worse because
he posted what 50 Cent said was on social media.
Yes.
If he never put that, there would have been nothing to respond to.
Did everybody respond
to it?
What
did he say?
Other people probably responded. So I'm sure he had.
So there's a lot of people. Hold on.
He need therapy, right?
Yes.
That's what
I'm saying. Smoking on that loud pack. On that Irv pack, ha. I'm just kidding. Rest in peace.
You want to address it?
So did he talk about What
you could have said?
Did he talk about everybody who posted something negative about his post?
If you feel if you're
he didn't though. Wait.
He said several times.
So why did he say
He said several times, I'm not gonna speak on this because I'm invested with this person or something like that. He's done that many times.
Who, Joe?
Yes.
So
why not do that now?
This is my point.
Because that ain't,
Joe was singled out. Listen.
So you get what you get. And you don't get upset. What the fuck?
Joe was singled out, bro.
Defending the back. This is the problem.
We're saying that Joe.
We can move on.
How are we defending? I'm saying that he was wrong. I'm just saying that Joe was singled out.
I'm just saying he get what you get.
It was singled out.
Don't get upset. You know what was coming.
Going to therapy doesn't mean that you're crazy.
If you coming at somebody,
we never
said
that.
Crazy.
But we're saying that talking about.
If you say somebody going, you need therapy. Why do I need therapy? Why do you think I need therapy? Because I think you're overreacting. Because I think something's wrong with you. Because I think you're crazy.
I think he said it out of emotions of him loving her. If you, that's your man's. If you love a dude that came out, you see what I'm saying? No, that sounds crazy, pause. But if you love a record executive in a brotherly way, you see what I'm saying? And he was unalived and somebody was laughing about it, you would feel a way too. All I'm saying is if you know who that person is, you're gonna take the chances of offending, or not even offending, but making this person upset too. Because or putting a target on yourself because you know how this person rock. He's gonna stand on it. You know 50's gonna stand on it. You know he's not gonna be like, oh yeah, you're right. Like sometimes you gotta know how somebody's gonna react, and is it worth going? Is it worth going through the emotions with this person that does need this help? You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it's not. It's not. Sometimes it's not. That's why sometimes a lot of women that get you jammed up because you will feel like you gotta prove something to for their honor, and then sometimes you should have just walked away, and then you get capped by some of these young niggas that don't want to lose on camera, and then shit, damn, oh well. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes you gotta learn how to move and when to say something and when not to say something, because if you decide, hey, just because this is right, that's
the point.
Not even just
how to move, you wouldn't post stuff like that.
I'm just saying self-preservation. That's all I'm saying.
I want to say this.
I think one of the worst things that a parent can do is literally have a child, raise them, and wait till they start making money, 17, 18, maybe even 16, to start taking money out of their check to pay their own damn bills, charging them rent and shit. I don't get that. I don't understand that, and I think it's so important to break them generational curses because
I don't agree with it, but I understand it.
That's not going down in my household. I'm the parent. I had you. You didn't have me. Huh?
I respect that too. She probably make enough money to
I
say
don't
that too.
understand how parents do that to their kids.
I still would make my kid give me something,
but I don't
put that money into
it. Listen what she said. She I hear what she said.
I agree.
She's still going.
Charging them to stay in their room.
Nah, I've seen the video already.
What the hell
is
this? The holiday year? Like, I don't understand.
I got a bladder full.
I feel like that can be acceptable. Is I've heard examples of, parents, they might take their kids' money every month, charge them rent, but they're really putting it aside so that when it's time for them to move out, they're going to give it back to them, and they good. And I can understand that because it's like, okay, well, you're trying to teach them a little lesson. You're trying to teach them some responsibility, some independence. I get that. So, okay, that's cool. But all that other bullshit, I will never understand that. I don't care. You can call my kids spoiled, whatever. My kids will be born with this silver spoon in their mouth. I seen a video of a girl talking about, she said her kids ain't gonna get it out of the mud. Her kids gonna get it out of the garden in which she's planted them seeds in. And amen. Get it out the mud? Hell no. I'm not gonna watch my kids struggle. And I think that is so unfair. That don't make no sense. You snatching a check and you snatching their money away to sit there and pay your bills every month. You chose to have them. You chose that house. That's your house. Them your bills. Work harder? I don't know. Do something. But literally, like,
and she's still talking.
Tell your child, right? Huh? If that's the case.
That's why she had a kid.
Well,
the one that's doing it, that's why they had the kid. They had the kid so that they could have somebody to help. They thought the dude was gonna stay there.
Yeah, that seemed like some
left.
single mother behavior, right?
And now you got your kid, so your kid can help.
But you know what? It depends on who it's coming from. If it's a woman, I believe it's single mother, like, I need help, so you're gonna help me. But I think if it's a male, it's more like, I'm gonna teach you, the structure of.
I agree with taking it and putting it in an account, like she said, and then every month telling them to give you time to put it in an account.
Do you tell them that you're doing it?
No, don't tell them, but just
so
tell
then
them.
That's
when
the thing.
When you give it to them, and when they get ready to move out, or you have that conversation. Because if you tell them,
they gotta learn financial literacy.
They're not gonna argue if you tell.
If you're just giving them the money,
you're telling them when you get a job, you're gonna have this conversation before you start working, and it's not gonna be their whole check. It could be like $50 or $100. If you're working, you get like $400 a week or every 2 weeks. I'll take $100. You don't need to pay no. You live in my house, so you're gonna have food, you're gonna have all that, because you should be able to give that to your kid anyway if you have a kid, or you shouldn't be having one. Back to that. But if I'm gonna take it, and then when it's time, or then I'm gonna tell them later on, I'm not gonna tell them when it's happening that's what I'm doing it for, because then they're gonna want the money and they're gonna try to spend it, and that's gonna be a conversation. But when they decide they're like they want to get a job or whatever, a part-time job after school or something, I'm gonna tell them, okay, you gotta give me like $50 or $100, just pay your phone bill or something if you got a cell phone or whatever. Well, my kids are gonna be homeschooled anyway, so I don't know about this after school. But if you get a job, yeah, I'm gonna take a portion or whatever, and then I'm gonna just say like, oh, that's for your phone bill or something. If you're at the age where you're gonna be leaving out the house and whatever, going places, because you ain't gonna have one you don't need a cell phone under a certain age, because you're gonna be with me. So you don't need a phone. Who you talking on the phone to? So I mean, you could have friends, you could go on play date, take you to the park, meet other kids and stuff. But under a certain age, you don't need no cell phone, because me and your father hopefully gonna be together, and you're gonna be with us. So you don't need to call. And if you happen to be with another adult, which you probably won't unless I'm there, then if you happen to be, they're gonna have a phone, so you don't need to have your own phone if you're with me. But yeah, I'll take that. And then when it's time, when they're like, I would want them to go to talk to them as they're growing up about what they want to do, what they're interested in. So when they turn 18 or when they're done with school and stuff like that, they can have an idea and not be confused. Like, have these conversations as they're growing up, not just now, okay, they're 18, now you want them out the house, and you're like, what you gonna do? You need to do something with yourself. Like, no, I'm gonna prepare them, but I'm not like I said, I'm gonna keep this money, open an account for them. I would think you should open an account when they're born anyway, but then when they start working, the account that I already had, the money will go into that, and then when they're ready to leave out the house or whatever, if we had that conversation or whatever, then I'll be like, here, this is something to start or whatever. I've been saving this money for you, so you can go out and find a place. I'll help them find a place. I might help them pay rent for a little bit. If they don't have, hopefully I'll be in a position to do that. But I don't think that, and then like you said, sometimes do be single mothers. Like most of the time, the two parents, I know people with single parents, and I know people that are together and they have kids, and they do ask them for little stuff, not no crazy amount, like you're expecting them to pay half the rent or something like that. But like maybe if you got a cell phone, you got to pay your phone bill or something, because you come home, you have food or whatever, so you don't have to pay for them. I don't think they were putting it to the side or nothing like that. But I've also had these conversations with people that have kids that are single parents and people that are still together. So I've had these conversations with people, and like, I don't know, people be talking to me about stuff, or like my opinions or whatever. They ask me for advice sometimes about different stuff, but I just don't think, and then it makes it harder too when you're trying to get out, because it's like, depending on how much you're taking from them, from their check, they're not making that much money, then you're gonna have to have money for a security deposit. They gonna have to have money to pay rent. How I'm gonna save that up? If you taking all this, I gotta buy my own food. I gotta pay half the rent. Then I gotta get back and forth to work, and I'm probably only working part time, or even if it's full time. If I'm still in high school, or if I'm a young kid, how much could I really be making? Like, I'm not like making that much. So I think that's gonna
So then
take
seeing
them
how it
longer
is
to
in
get
a
on.
relationship, let's segue into this. Considering that, on top of that, women's preparation of going to date, should men make a deposit of $1,000 before a date?
What the hell? That's the topic.
Yeah, this woman,
What
this
the hell?
woman, yeah, woman,
What the hell?
woman says
The
men
hell,
should
yeah.
make $1,000 deposit to go on the date.
A heathen said that. Harlot.
But yeah, she said we gotta pay a deposit for lashes. This wear only. You don't have to pay nothing. You
Here's
gotta
what I
have a
said.
deposit for a wig, and then if we don't show up, then you get to keep the money. So I think if we get to go on a date with a man, and if it don't, they should have to pay $1,000 deposit, and if it don't work out, then we get to keep that.
E, this is exactly why I said everybody's opinion don't matter.
Her opinion don't matter. $1,000 is crazy.
It
Like,
depends on what you talking
her,
about. This
I'm,
don't
I'm,
matter.
saying, I'm saying every opinion don't matter, and sometimes
I never said
just
every.
no. I'm
We
just
talk
saying.
about
I'm,
something
I'm,
specific.
I'm saying the reason why I'm saying this is because if everybody's opinion mattered, then we'd have to be allowed to to deal with or tolerate so much just foolishness. You see what I'm saying?
If everybody's opinion mattered, Donald Trump would be our president.
I mean, if everybody, I don't know. If,
Nobody
you know what I'm
said
saying?
everybody's opinion.
No.
You don't have
I'm-
to listen to nobody's opinion at
You
all.
shouldn't have to, but you do. And this is what I'm saying. If Joe Button had an opinion, he felt like expressing that opinion, there's consequences
Social media,
coming
man.
to that opinion. You see what I'm saying? There's good ideas and there's bad ideas. Hey, even though this is true, is it a good idea to do this or is it a bad idea to do this? And this is what I'm saying. Even though it's true to her,
information.
even though it was true to that woman, she still
Can
felt like, yo,
look like
I'm
the
gonna
same
say
thing.
this. And then guess what? Now
Like,
people are
if you got
criticizing her.
a credible
Now people
businessman,
are like, yo, I don't
you got a
think.
credible businessman who's a tycoon, who's in several areas
Mhm.
in his industries, and he's a billionaire, and you make a gesture. You know what I mean? You just say something casually. He needs therapy because of something that he tweeted.
And you may
Maybe
be
out
right.
of passion, maybe out of whatever.
And you
whatever.
may be right.
That's not your problem. But you're a journalist, right? You want to be a journalist.
Oh, if he's a journalist.
Journalists always get what they get. Joe Budden, right? If you want to say that, right?
Journalist, yeah.
Journalists always get what they get.
He responded to a tweet. I don't got nothing.
But I'm saying anybody could have responded to it.
I'm sure
too.
there's a
but that's
He
bunch
didn't
of-
entertain everybody. He entertained the person that has the platform
Like,
because
when
that
you
person
post
has.
stuff,
Let me
if
wait.
you're mad like
Can I
that, you should
cook? Can I
respond
cook?
to everybody.
Can I do my drunk
That's
cook?
the case, and
He
you
was
can't.
targeted.
So like,
He was
Let me
targeted.
wait. Let
Not
me
say
finish.
nothing.
Let me
Don't
finish.
post
Let me finish
shit.
my. Let me finish my
He
point.
was targeted.
So we're seeing that Joe Buttons is speaking on a statement that 50 Cent made on Twitter. It's not the fact that he's speaking on it, it's the fact that who is speaking on it because of his platform.
Yeah.
He has the voice. So no matter what,
They both
right or wrong,
they both use each other to
they're
get
you right,
financial
exactly.
100%.
And it's like affiliate marketing. Like, I didn't say you could use my brand.
Exactly.
So he's coming at it from a business perspective. He's a male genitalia
That's what I'm trying
when
to
you're
say.
talking about business.
That's what I'm trying to say.
And he's exactly what
You're
what I
right
was talking about
morally,
before,
but there is a
where
line that, you know what I mean, makes sense.
toxic
that makes sense,
masculinity
like,
versus business. Like really, like this looks like toxic, but is this a business venture? This draws attention to everything that he has going on.
I don't think masculinity is toxic though. I think that's just the narrative.
But that's how they make it. That's what they push.
Saying. It's like I'm not gonna.
Why they
They
push
don't
it?
got nothing to do with it.
I'm not.
He just toxic.
Oh,
That's
but why?
Because a woman, a feminine.
You made a business move.
toxic is
You
not-
made a business move to profit off of my name negatively. So I make a move to profit off of your name
Therapy
negatively.
is not negative.
It's
taking
not.
it negative.
But you used
That's
it.
why
But
he
you
got
used
mad,
me.
because he got emotional.
But you used me
That's why
to pivot
dudes in
your
jail, 'cause
approach
he was
for your
too
show.
emotional.
You used me as a headliner for your show, like, or a subcategory. Like why would you use me without my consent, without me saying anything, and show me
Why you
in
post it
a
online?
negative
That's what
light?
happened when you post stuff online.
It does,
You
it does.
gotta
But when you
respond
do
to
it, he has the right to respond to who he wants to respond to, and a lot of times they look forward to it. Joe Budden just didn't expect it.
Yeah, Joe Budden definitely didn't expect it. I don't think he would have went about it.
I think DJ Ack would have knew his place.
That's what I'm saying.
I think Vlad would have knew his place.
Yeah.
I think
I know.
everybody would have knew
I
their place.
agree with what
But
you're
Joe
saying. I'm
Budden
just
just
saying
wanted
we
to
know
be the
50.
one.
We know
Joe
that
Budden
he's gonna
wanted to be the
attack
one to test the
the
waters.
person that does that.
To
You know
test
what I'm
he
saying?
wanted to test the waters. He just wanted to be the one. Cause
He didn't care,
did Ack talk about it? I didn't hear anything about Ack talking about it. I didn't hear anything about anybody else talking about
But
it. I
Act
just
doesn't
heard
usually
about.
have a moral compass, though. You know what I'm saying? Act basically.
But that's what I'm
is just
saying.
like
That's what I'm saying.
self-preservation
He
mode.
probably didn't
I feel
think
like
nothing of
I
it.
feel like Joe has a moral compass because there's other people on that show that kind of like, yo, like you're bugging if you're bugging. You know what I'm saying? But with this situation, you could tell he has personal connections to Irv Gotti. So it's like if it was somebody else, maybe he might be like, yeah, this is messed up, but he wouldn't be that attached
but
to
you
it
know
where
what?
he
You
felt
know
like,
what? I
yo,
never
you need
heard
therapy or you need-
war. I never heard a war, and then all of a sudden you cool with the people you just had a war with. Like war is different. A battle.
You could not be cool.
You know what I
You
mean?
don't have to say.
It's not a war,
that
bro.
you
It's
smoking
power.
on them.
You could be.
It's a
you
power
could be.
People don't be
you could
cool
be
with
neutral,
people, but
you could be
like there's people
cordial.
I'm not cool with, but I
You
don't
could be
be
cordial.
sitting up
But
there
the
power
war is
talking
crazy.
about them
The
and
war is
saying
crazy.
I don't
something.
even think it's a war that he entertains. It's just a power move. Like
I'm never gonna be a
in the
friend.
48 laws
You
of
don't have
power.
to,
I'm
but
never
you don't
gonna
have to
shake
talk
your
about
hand.
That's what it is, right?
Something like
Because
that.
why
Like
my
I'm
name
never
in
gonna
your
be
mouth?
able to.
That's
I'm
some
never
female
gonna. I'm not
shit.
gonna go to your
Why
funeral.
my name in your
Yeah.
mouth? That's
And when
some
everybody
female shit.
leaves, I'm
If you
gonna
don't
pee on your
fuck with
grave.
me, then you don't have to talk about me neither.
No,
You
I'm
don't
gonna
have to
talk
say
about you.
nothing. That's some
It's
female
never
shit.
peace. I don't care.
female
It's
shit.
never.
You
It's
could
never
not like
ending.
somebody
It's a
and you don't gotta
grudge.
talk about them
It's a
unless
grudge.
they're
Because
currently doing
because
something.
you know what it is. You know what it is.
Because that means you
When
never
you
got
try to-
over it.
When you try to
need
delete
to
me,
let it go.
when you try to delete me, that changes everything.
It should, but it don't. So
Quiet.
really.
That's true though. When you try to delete me, that changes everything because
Irv Gotti
now-
delete him
Yeah.
wait.
or Supreme.
You ain't know that?
Herb this.
You ain't know the connection?
Well, allegedly.
Oh, allegedly.
50 got stabbed up.
Yeah.
He got poked up. They was trying to take that man alive.
With them.
He started the shit from the beginning.
I'm not talking about who
It was a
started. I'm
fight.
just saying.
They were going back and forth.
I'm just
He
saying,
started beef with everybody.
if you don't have a name-
it's not like you
Hold
just
on,
walked up
E,
to somebody.
E.
I'm gonna defend myself.
matter.
If you put your hands on
E.
me, I'm supposed to stand there. You created this situation. You're
E.
mad at the outcome.
So
It's
E,
the
after,
same thing.
after,
if
after
you get
all said
stabbed,
and done, after
you don't
all
got a
said and
knife,
done,
is that a
we
fair
shake
fight?
hands. We good?
Hold on. Not even a shake
I
hand.
didn't come
If
here
you
to
get
fight.
stabbed, right? That person
We
felt
not
like their
good
life was
ever.
threatened and they was trying to kill you,
You don't
unalive you,
have to
right?
do it, but I don't have to
All
do
I'm
it.
saying is, once you
say
put
that.
knives in the situation,
Right.
then you're
You
attempting
don't
on
I'm
my
wanna
life.
gonna
live.
defend
You're
myself.
attempting on my life.
If
And
you
if you're
don't
attempting
want
on my
to
life,
anymore,
then that has
we
nothing to
can
do with the
never be-
Supreme thing.
I can
We
never-
know, yeah, exactly.
I can never trust
But you
you.
can understand
Isn't
that.
that
You
the,
don't
isn't
have
that
to
the
be
understand
around
that.
him to trust
You
him.
understand
He
that.
wasn't around him. So
And I don't respect you
They
either.
wasn't working together.
I don't
so who you
respect
need to
somebody I
trust him?
can't trust.
Nobody said that. So you still don't get online and just be talking. I'm sure there's people that you don't like. But do you get online and be talking
But
about them
if I
and
don't
saying
like
stuff?
you,
If they
then I
die,
trust
you're
you.
not gonna get online
If I
and
don't
say
like
that,
you, would
right?
you lie to
My
me?
moral level
Yo,
is
I don't like
different.
you.
He
but
don't
you-
even
but
be
you won't
around
lie.
He
Yeah.
don't
Not
be
you.
around
I'm just saying. I'm saying in general. If I don't like the person, they won't. if I don't like the person, they probably not gonna lie to me. They probably gonna tell me the truth.
That's different from dislike. I think hate and dislike is two different things. I think 50 hate them niggas. I think he hates y'all. I think he hates. I think he hates y'all.
I mean, he tried to lead him.
God,
he tried to lead him.
I think
So
he hates
if he
him.
tried to
Don't
lead
matter.
him,
He hate him. He want to finish it. So what you're saying
if
is,
somebody put their
I'm
hands
still
on me,
here.
I don't give a fuck. If somebody, I'm not fighting my family members. If somebody put their hands on me, you can't be mad about what the next outcome is. And we obviously wasn't friends or nothing if we're fighting to begin with.
Okay.
So if I stab you because you put your hands on me, I'm gonna defend myself. You could have beat me to a pulp. If I know I can't beat you, then yeah, I'm gonna get a weapon. But you're acting like a female if you going online and talk about it after, and I ain't saying nothing else about you.
Is it always up or no? Yes or no? Is it always up?
We're not even together. You're
Is it
creating.
always
That's
up?
why you got stabbed in the first place.
You almost got
because
deleted.
you started
Is it always up?
Why though?
You almost got deleted.
You
It don't
gotta
matter.
take accountability for what you. That's not
I'm
taking
sorry
accountability
that I
because you're trying to
started this.
absolve him of what he
We
did,
finished
and
it.
he's mad at the outcome.
Yeah,
If
but
somebody
you
put
took it
their
too
hands
far.
on you, you're gonna do what
if
you can
somebody
to defend
doesn't,
yourself.
if somebody isn't known
And
to
then you
take,
still keep it going.
We
He
tried
ain't
to
even say
take
nothing
each
else
other.
about
If
it.
we try to take each other's lives, there can be no redemption.
Nobody said redemption. What are you talking about?
So I'm
Just
gonna
because I
drag
don't
you.
like
I'm
you,
gonna
that
drag
doesn't
you
mean
through
I
the
need
mud.
to
I'm
keep
gonna
going.
take you out the
But you're
grave
not
and
going.
put you on
But
a
you're not.
float
You not.
and pull you down
You're
the
not.
street.
So what are
And
we
pull you
talking
down
about?
the street.
Because you don't do that.
Smiley
So
does-
And I'm
stop it.
gonna-
Smiley
You
doesn't
wouldn't
have
do
that
that.
hate.
Either one of you. So
Smiley.
why are you defending this?
Because
And
we
if
don't have
somebody
that
put
hate.
their hands on you
Because
that
we
you
don't
don't
have
fuck
that
with,
hate in
and
our
you
hearts.
got a knife, you would
Because
try
we
to
don't have
stab
that
me
hate
too,
in
or
our
pick up
hearts.
something. We had
Key.
this conversation the other day,
We don't
and
have
you
that hate
talked
in our
about
hearts.
picking up shit or whatever, because you
We
gotta
don't have-
do what you
we
gotta
don't
do
have
to
to-
defend yourself. 50 Cent, big as fuck or whatever. Nobody like you
It wasn't a
started
fair
that
one.
shit or whatever.
It wasn't a fair one.
Regardless, if you come and try to attack
There's
me,
no redemption
I'm
from
gonna
death.
try to fuck you up. If I gotta
There's no
stab
death.
you or pick
All I'm
up
saying
something
is
and throw, I don't know what you're gonna do
you're
to me.
excusing
You
the
could have
hate.
did it to me,
You're
or you
excusing
could
the
have beat me
hate
to a pulp.
as it shouldn't be that big deal. And,
I think
and what we're
it's
saying is
not,
the
because
hate is a big
you
deal.
wouldn't
The
do
hate
it,
is big enough
because we know
because we don't have that hate
if
in our
you don't
heart.
like somebody,
Because we
you
don't
don't
have
go
that hate in our
online
heart.
and post up
We
and
don't
talk
have that
about
hate
it,
in our
and you
heart.
wouldn't be
I don't
laughing
hate
about it.
nobody
So
for the
why are you
fact that-
defending it then?
Because
I
some
don't
people do
understand.
have
You're
hate
just
in their
arguing
heart.
to argue.
Because some people do have that hate in their
Okay,
heart.
but you're
Because some people
justifying
do
it,
have
but
that
you're
hate in their heart.
justifying it. Why are you
We're not justifying it. We're
Why?
saying this is
'Cause
what it
you
happens.
wouldn't do it.
We're saying
You
we're not going to
wouldn't do
ignore.
it.
We're saying we're not going to ignore
You
the
started
fact.
it.
We're saying
And
we're
then
not
you
going to
still
ignore
go
the
on.
fact that
And
somebody
then
has
something
hate in their
happens
heart.
to him.
Yeah,
Then
We're
it's something
saying
you-
we're not going
then
to
it's
ignore the
something-
fact that somebody
then
has
something
hate in
you
their
happen
heart.
to him.
So somebody has
Then
hate in their
something
heart.
you happen
That
to
we're
him.
going to do
That
what?
people gonna
They're
be
going to go
crying,
out their
and
way
people gonna be crying,
to
and he's still dragging this
it
out.
don't
There's
matter.
something
E,
happens
we
to
know
oh,
that
that's
person.
sad, but
We
it's
know
not
that person
sad
has
that
hate in their
somebody
heart.
lost their
Because
life
we
or
know the
whatever.
difference between dislike and a person with hate in their heart. If the person has hate in their heart, they're not hearing nothing. If you say something out of pocket, knowing that what we went through, and you know I hate this person, you are liable to get shot at however I can shoot at you. Because guess what? He didn't shoot at him in the street. He didn't trick himself out of his position. What did he do? He clowned him on IG. And yes, it's not fair, but guess what? That's the reality of dealing with an emotional person that doesn't want to be accountable for his emotions. We understand.
You see what just happened with him
and that's what we have now. Men that are not masculine, because that's a female move to keep talking about somebody just because you don't like them and going online. They're not saying nothing else about you, but you want to keep saying stuff, and then after they pass on or whatever,
but
she's corny for that too.
She not corny.
But it is corny. No,
she shut him up. That's hard to do. Shut up, Joe Buttons. She shut him up.
But
she shut him right up. She was like, damn.
Why are you
damn.
And that's corny because you know Joe not even like that. He's not gonna fight you.
Because they're in
so that's
gossip.
even more corny because you're picking on someone that wouldn't even fight you. He's not even that type of dude, and he never even said nothing like you want to know. I want to fight you. That's corny. You're being a bully.
They're in
so
gossip.
like that's corny. You're not a masculine man. That's why Vivica Fox said what she said. He probably do like getting played in his booty because he act like a B.I.T.
Look, that's
hold on.
That's crazy.
So you gotta do that. You gotta do that because I can't go at 50. If we going at celebs, then I gotta go at Buttons because I was taking the objective stance. But now I gotta say, well, Joe Buttons used to beat up women allegedly.
And I said that was wrong.
He needed therapy too, then.
Right.
And I never said he didn't.
good that he got it.
But we talk about
I
that
think he
specific
did get
situation.
some.
He probably did. He was on drugs for a lot of his life. Both his
some
parents
people
was on drugs.
you don't F with. Leave him alone. Why you poking at him? He already going through a situation right now. He had to drop a hit show. They probably could have extended it.
Okay, and that's also another
He's
acting like
emotional. He's
a
going through
BITCH. The show is not canceled. It's
'Cause
coming
he's
back
still
on
acting
this
like
month.
he
He just said that because
he's
he was
acting
in
like
his
a man
feelings,
with
like I
emotions,
said
he's running
before,
the business.
because there's too many people involved. There's
He's still
contracts
doing
signed. See, I
masculine
knew he
things.
wasn't gonna
He's
just
running his
cancel,
businesses.
but this is a female movement.
But
This is why
I'm saying
what
you
we
still,
say
you're
call
gonna
women
have
masculine, but
crashes.
he's acting like a female.
You're gonna
Like,
have
he's doing shit like
situations
this,
where
acting
things
like a
fail.
female.
You're gonna have
And I knew
situations
the show
where
wasn't
things
gonna be
happen.
canceled because I said that because
That
I know
was
he
crazy.
signed contracts.
That
He's
was
not
crazy.
the only person.
I'm not
a part of the
doubting that
production.
was crazy.
But
'cause
it's coming
it
back
probably
on this month.
wasn't
So
the
tune
best
in.
business decision.
BMF,
but
I forgot, but May sometime this month is coming out. So tune in.
Can I tell you something? The son was going through some mental and drug issues, right? And 50 sent him to rehab to get himself cleaned up, allegedly, right? So
was this recent?
This wasn't recent.
Oh, okay.
And ever since then, he put him on the show. He got him right.
Yeah.
He was having a problem with his money. He kept spending his money, buying chains, doing all this other stuff, right? His father get out. They had the whole situation of falling out because his father was linking up with Rick Ross. That's the op. No matter how anybody look at it, he don't. If it's somebody's enemy, then that's not his people. You know what I mean? So you can't associate yourself with people that's not my people. If I'm putting food in your mouth, I'm putting food in some mouth. His son tried to do whatever, probably on the back end. He wasn't with it. I did all this for you. You want this money, or you want to, be a son. You know what I mean? Like, what do you want right now? And I've been more of a father figure to you than he's ever been. It's a lot of things to consider. 50 is a cerebral assassin. I heard that term in wrestling. It used to be Triple H's term.
Nah,
50 is definitely a cerebral assassin.
He was the cerebral assassin.
Always go into the mind. Really, really trying to go in. Mind freak you, right? And always using that as the way to destroy their opponent. And he got the financial power to back it most of the time.
Triple H?
A lot of times in this situation, Triple H wins.
Well, what are we talking about again? I forgot.
We're talking about 50.
We were supposed to be talking about men
putting
pay $1,000.
That was fuckery though. We already know that the type of men that's gonna do that is tricks. And she was talking foolishness though.
Why would you do that though?
Because you're foolish, and you have to, and you feel like you have to. You know what I'm saying? There's no in between. It's either you're foolish or you feel like you have to.
So we all don't agree with it, but to understand, like, why would that even be a consideration? Well, who would think that makes sense?
Because
certain
women view themselves as, you have to pay to be in my presence, or pay to maintain this lifestyle.
Is it worth it?
I mean, if you feel like the coop newt is that expensive, then it's for you. But that's why I said it's either out of two genres: the people that have to believe that to be true, or the people that are foolish and think that that's true. So you see what I'm saying? There's no in between with that. It's like, what can I say? We all know it's foolishness.
I mean, it's not true or not. She didn't say nobody doing it.
Exactly.
Said
But it's a dumb
statement. Drinking a double cider.
It's just stupid. Like, and it probably went viral because she cute. But that's what I'm saying. Like,
I don't think it went viral because I can't find it. I seen it. This guy posted it in his live.
I seen it too. I think it was viral because I seen it. It just popped up on my feed. And this is before we even talked about it. I was like, oh, I seen this shit. Like, that's crazy, yo. Either that or, AI is really reading our minds.
Doesn't China have like they're working on or they already put up a 15G tower? Niggas, 15G.
They be doing everything, man.
15G, not 6, not 7, 15. That's why their drones is doing all that, because they're gonna fake an alien invasion in no time. Somebody is. Look up, everybody. Look up, Marlon.
Be crazy. Yo, you know what? Down south. Oh yeah, we got cut off. But I want to say one thing.
I'm sitting in my car.
Who's
I
this?
done came up with an idea. You know how you go get your hair done, but before you get your hair done, you have to put down a deposit. Before you get your lashes done, you have to put down a deposit. Before you get your nails done, you have to put down a deposit, right? And if you don't show up, you do not get that deposit back.
The bullshit that she's saying just makes it burn.
That's what I'm saying. It's
We
like
should start charging these men deposits
it's like
to date us.
I understand
Like, we
forcing
should
people to
start
hear
charging them
like
a fee to
sensible
date us.
stuff.
Like a 30-day trial. You pay like
This is
$1,000
crazy.
to date us. So, and if they don't do right by us within them 30 days, we keep the money. I'm just saying, like, so ladies, don't sit for better.
Alright. You can close this out.
So cause ain't nothing else to say about that. Like, okay,
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
how you
Including
feel.
yourself.
That's how you feel.
That's
Okay.
what she talking about.
Forever. That's just for now. Like,
Yeah.
forever, bro. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like,
Don't
you
give
know
it
what I'm saying? That is
Charlamagne
crazy.
probably gonna make her. All right. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Get Lifted. 30 is the new 20. I'm La Jefa.
Kobe. I'm Chris O.D.
SmileyJizzle, man.
And hit the like button, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you're notified the next time we post or go live. And check out the last week's video from when Sharp becomes dangerous, when we talk about the Shannon Sharp situation. Thank you for tuning in.
Is that already?
Get lifted.
It's
Yeah.
getting sharper.
Watch that on. That's funny.
I bleeped out
I believe it.
some of your stuff, but